right. It's about the everyday parenting choices that could make a big difference on our children.
Rebecca, I read the blog a lot. My first question is, who the hell do you think you are telling me how to raise my kids?
You know, I have a degree in early childhood education, but my greatest education has been raising 3 beautiful kids of my own.
Okay, Rebecca, what other bullshit do you have the nerve to share with us this morning?
I talk about this in my book, and it does take a lot of effort, but parents really should teach their child a second language. My daughter Hazel and I are learning French together.
Wow, you know, I'll bet a lot of moms watching right now are thinking, you.
Well, I get that a lot, but the window during which language acquisition skills are at their peak is really
whatever.
very
small.
small.
I wish I had done that. You win, but guess what? I just remembered. You're not my boss.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free. If you want to take control of the airwaves, you may do that. That's why we're here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Got some news about Amazon and their plans to expand into more of real life. They already, of course, have the Whole Foods Market chain that they purchased a couple of years ago. But
it's a lot like real life for most people.
Now they're talking about opening up 3,000 cashierless stores. We can talk about what that
That's a
means
lot of stores
for retail coming up here in a little bit. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
But to start things out, a lot of times whenever we all bring in the same story, it's usually because we all do our own show prep independently of one another, and then we kind of compare notes before we start. And this story about the speed camera / signage things that they have. So apparently those police speeding kind of, here's your speed.
It's not
notice
always police.
signs.
I mean, just sometimes in communities,
it's the police who put those up. It almost always has a
public works department.
It almost always has a logo of the police associated with it. In almost every instance I've ever seen of one of those, it's usually on like a stand of some sort, kind of like a by the road wheel, trailer stand.
I've seen those.
It's usually got the logo of the local police department on it. They're not there for a public service. They're there to try to get people to slow down.
Yeah.
To kind of fool them
without giving tickets, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you kind of want people to slow down, and if you can do that without like random death threats, that's vaguely threatening. I don't know that I would just automatically call that a death threat.
Well, guess what? According to the Daily Beast as well here. There's a Quartz doc. Wait a minute, which one is this? It's Quartz, but somehow it's on the Daily Beast URL. I don't know what that means. Maybe my browser's messed up. The next time you drive past one of those road signs with a digital readout showing how fast you're going, don't simply assume it's there to remind you not to speed. It may actually be capturing your license plate data. So
yeah, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, that's the next step, right?
Well,
first,
that
it's there not giving you a ticket.
Free Talk Live's been saying it's coming for a long time.
First, it's there not giving you a ticket. Then it may lead you to getting a ticket.
Yeah, it's not paranoia until it's real. And the government is currently putting together...
Wait a minute. What do you mean it's not paranoia until it's real?
I'm sorry. It's not paranoia if it's real. If it's true, it's not paranoia, right?
Okay, right.
And the government is putting together a database of your movements, of everybody's movements. They when they can record these, computer record all of these license plates. It's not like some bureaucrats going through and saying, okay, and Melanie and Ian had passed by this at a particular time and done this thing. They aren't doing that, but they're putting together a model of all these license plates and where they're traveling at certain times. If you put these things in at every mile on the road, you'll know where people are going, when they're going, what their patterns are, and you'll have this sort of demographic information about all of society as it occurs. And this is the sort of thing that governments love. They love this archiving of information on their human tax cattle, their human tax livestock. That's what you are. Your sole purpose, as far as the government is concerned, is to work, produce things that they can then take a portion of your labor, a portion of what you produce,
just enough to where you don't protest and do
if they took
violence to them.
If they took 90% of what you made, you'd go in there with pitchforks and torches. So they're not going to come up with that number. Well, you'll just stop working.
Maybe.
In reality, what will happen is you'll just stop working. And society will grind to a halt. So what their goal is to find that magic number, that perfect number to tax you on that amount so that you'll continue to work at full speed and they can get the most out of you.
So here's a surprising aspect of this story. Apparently, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, is behind this program. According to recently released U.S. federal contracting data, the DEA will be expanding the footprint of its nationwide surveillance network. Yes, that's right. This bureaucracy's still out there trying to somehow desperately, pathetically stop drugs from moving about and coming into the United States, even though it has never worked in the history of prohibition. Prohibition fails every single time it's tried.
We'd like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs.
Yeah. But, they've still got a bunch of money to spend, and they've got contractors to spend it on.
We'd like to congratulate the DEA on fooling Americans and believing that they're actually trying to stop drugs and not just a bunch of tax leeches creating work for their friends and connected individuals.
Like RU2 Systems Incorporated, a private Mesa, Arizona company, which is the company from which this expanded footprint of its nationwide surveillance network will be happening from. It's the purchase of multiple trailer-mounted speed displays to be retrofitted as mobile license plate reader platforms, or LPR for license plate reader. How much it's spending on those signs has been redacted from the report. The other, which is suspicious.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you that it's your job as a citizen, as a voter, as a taxpayer. It's your job every 2 to 4 years, every 2 years, to go to the polls and make decisions on your government and how it should react to you, and how you want to be governed and how you want everybody to be governed. But by the way, we will not tell you how much they spend on stuff. We're just going to keep hordes of information from you, because everything I just said is a damn lie and you know it.
According to the story here, 2 other apparently related contracts show that the DEA has hired a small machine shop in California and another in Virginia to conceal the readers within the signs. An RU2 representative said the company providing the LPR devices themselves is a Canadian firm called GeneTech, or Genetech.
That's a really scary name.
I'm not sure if it's Genetic or GeneTech.
Either one of them.
They're kind of the same.
Yeah, GENETEC. The DEA launched its National License Plate Reader program in 2008, so it's celebrating its 10th anniversary by massively expanding it. It was publicly revealed for the first time during a congressional hearing 4 years after that, so it was secret for the first 4 years. The DEA's most recent budget describes the program as, quote, a federation of independent federal, state, local, and tribal law enforcement license plate readers linked into a cooperative system designed to enhance the ability of law enforcement agencies to interdict drug traffickers, money launderers, or other criminal activities on high drug and money trafficking corridors and other public roadways throughout the United States.
That these same people just take money from people who are transporting cash across America.
That's correct.
If you're going someplace
old ladies,
to buy an RV or buy a piece of property,
you got your life savings took out of the bank.
Yeah, you take it out of the bank. You're transporting it across the country.
Or maybe you never had a bank account. Maybe you were just throwing it under your mattress or something.
Yeah, there's no obligation in a free country to have a bank account. And you bring the money. This happens all the time. They steal money from people, and then they demand that they prove over the course of years, in often cases years, that their money was somehow gained legitimately, and then sometimes they'll give it back.
Former NYPD Detective Sergeant and Bronx Cold Case Squad Commander Joseph Giaclone told courts, quote, there used to be an old police saying, if you robbed a bank, please drive carefully. He explained that if a getaway driver didn't do anything to attract the attention of police and get pulled over, they usually had a half-decent chance of fleeing. But that's no longer in effect because you can drive slow, you can stop at every red light, but these license plate readers and surveillance cameras track your every movement. And therein lies the real issue, according to courts. What is a game-changing crime-fighting tool to some is a privacy overreach of near existential proportions to others. License plate readers, which can capture somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 plates per minute, cast an astonishingly wide net that has made it far easier for cops to catch serious criminals. On the other hand, the indiscriminate nature of the real-time collection, along with the fact that it's then stored by authorities for later data mining, is highly alarming to privacy advocates. This according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation's Dave Maas. He says license plate readers are inherently a form of mass surveillance. You look at something like a wiretap, and most of the time it's looking for a specific person and capturing specific conversations with that person. But here, they're collecting information on everybody, not all of whom have been accused of a crime, in case they may one day commit a crime. This is un-American, he says.
Oh, no. No. Driving is a privilege. We're going to tax you for those roads. We're going to make you pay for every step of the way, but it's a privilege because we said so.
There's more coming up here, and of course, this was all built on the foundation of the driver's, license plate in the first place, the tag. So when Americans allowed themselves to be tagged, they thought it was going to be, to help catch criminals, and turns out it's going to be to help watch absolutely everybody for whatever purposes the government wants. It's Free Talk Live.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from SurvivalSpeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Dial on in here. It's toll free. Take control of the airwaves. We're talking about more spying going on right maybe in your city, with the DEA teaming up with corporations and local police departments to locate license plate readers, which will presumably be connected to the DEA and some sort of database, an ongoing updated real-time database of where it is that you are on the road, or at least where you were within the last time that you passed by one of these locations. And you can comment if you want to join us here. You can also bring up anything that you want to discuss. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Anarchapulco is coming up. People that care about issues like this are going to be at Anarchapulco. There's a huge variety of great speakers, and of course the attendees are always very interesting to meet at Anarchapulco, coming up February 14th through the 17th. The lineup of speakers includes entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships, all being discussed for 4 days among the sun and beaches of a world-class resort. And you can, of course, go to anarchapulco.com, use code FTL, and that will get you 15% off. Ron Paul will be one of the speakers who's there, as well as Judge Napolitano, Doug Casey, Larkin Rose, and many more. It's a huge event. It's been a lot of fun the years that I've had the chance to go. I've been to 2 of them. Mark, you've been to 3. And this is going to be year number 5, right? I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, year number 5 coming up. And it was a sellout this year, so you ought to expect it's going to sell out again. Get your tickets now at 15% off at anarchapulco.com. So once again, quartzqz.com reporting here that the DEA, in apparently some kind of a document that was semi-redacted, released recently, federal contracting data. The DEA is expanding its footprint of what's already been in existence now for a decade. This started in 2008. It was secret for the first 4 years, revealed publicly in 2012.
So it's been happening for that period of time?
That's correct, for the last decade. And so now it's going to get bigger. They're teaming up with, again, local police departments here. According to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, this is a form of mass surveillance. They're collecting information on everybody, not all of whom have been accused of a crime. The DEA does not release how much of the data it collects that is connected to crimes. The nonprofit ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union of Maryland, found that only 47 out of every 1 million plates scanned by police in the state, or 0.005%, were linked to a serious crime. The Atlanta PD captured data from 128.5 million license plates last year. 786,580 of those, or 0.6%, were suspected of having a connection to a crime. Now remember, crime can mean anything, right? Like a crime isn't necessarily, under the government's definitions, a violent act. So of
No.
Right. Of those 786,580, 0.6%, probably only a fraction of that are people who are wanted for an actual violent crime, not, he had some marijuana, or he jumped his bail, or
the number of warrants has increased exponentially over the last 2 decades. Laws have increased, just keep on expanding at a breakneck pace. I'm reasonably certain that the government covered all the violent offenses as far as laws by the time I was born, and just about everything after that is just an expansion of.
Well, you're about a century too late.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Century to a century and a half too late for just kind of violent and otherwise victim crimes.
Of 22 million license plates recorded in Austin, Texas during that same time frame, 3,200 of them, or 0.01%. So we're talking about 1/100th of 1%, were linked to alleged criminal activity. Still, it's not the data collection itself that's the issue, as much as what authorities do with that information next, explained Maas from the from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. He said, quote, "The technology is fairly simple, but as they start collecting more and more data and applying more and more algorithms to that, you can get information about people's travel patterns, where their doctor's office is, where they sleep at night, or put in the address of a place and see who visited it. An immigrant health clinic, for instance. Medical marijuana facility."
Right. So anybody who visits an immigrant health clinic is suddenly, on the watch for
who knows what.
Yeah. Well, being an illegal alien. Yeah. So let's just check out. Let's just go and check out
every
the
car that goes by. Of
the places that are registered, here, and maybe we'll find some things.
Even a marijuana grow operation that would be completely legal under state law, but illegal under federal law, says Mass. You could link someone to an abortion clinic or any number of sensitive locations. Precise details of the DEA's license plate reader program are extremely difficult to pry loose. The DEA declined to comment on either the program in general or its latest purchase of license plate readers. Sherman Green, the Department of Justice contracting officer.
They have to get together with the NSA. I mean, they're running a really great program.
Very secretive. Yeah. Handling the RU2 did not respond to an interview request. Again, RU2 is this company that's being purchased from to expand the program. Maas said the DEA augments its own data collection by buying access to commercial databases, including one maintained by Vigilant Solutions of Livermore, California. In January, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency purchased access to Vigilant's LPR data, which reportedly allows investigators to trace plates going back 5 years. So not only are they getting information live, real time from their own network of cameras, they also are augmenting that with however many more millions of data points from commercially available data sources. Some LPR cameras can capture.
So now, we believe that Mark Edge went and purchased a bag of marijuana. They still sell it in bags, right? And
I don't know. I don't think you get them from legal locations in bags.
I don't know. I've never purchased marijuana at a legal location.
That's true. Me neither.
And so
I purchased a lot of marijuana, but
I haven't purchased marijuana in many, many, many years. Yeah. But I'm just putting together a hypothetical here. And so, to prove this, we have this. We have him driving past this location or this location, clearly headed at this location at this time. Yeah. We believe the purchase occurred there, and this is evidence, Your Honor. There you go.
Yeah, and most locations at which you would buy things are located right next to the side of a road. And so it wouldn't be hard for, DEA to say, phone up whatever police to Keene Police, phone them up and say, if we had a marijuana legal, store here, and someday we probably will, but it's not legal yet in New Hampshire.
I'm talking about illegal, whatever it is.
Whatever. But anyway, if they have a place they want to observe, they just have the police locate the speed checking device, because that's what we're talking about. If you're just tuning in, those speed checking trailer device things along the side of the road that you see maybe in
usually
your community.
Orange. Yeah.
They're usually white, like a speed limit sign, in my experience. But either way, those speed devices are now being augmented and have been since 2008 in some places.
The big ones have radar on them, too. My radar detector goes bananas every time I go past the marquees.
They all have to have radar on them. I'm sorry if it wasn't clear. That's what I'm talking about. The ones with radar that show you your speed.
Not just those. What I'm saying are the ones that tell you there will be bridge work on 912 and blah, 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 blah. Those also have radar on them.
Oh, wow. All right. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. A little bit more about the technology here and the danger that this poses. Even if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't break any laws, why should you be concerned?
Everyone breaks laws. Let's talk about it.
Coming up here in moments, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
They have satellite image pictures of cities on the moon.
No, they
and
don't.
Yes, they do.
That's
but
a
they
load
have
of
the
garbage.
secret-
I've never heard of any such thing. A quick Google search would reveal whatever these lame-o pictures are supposed to be, which, of course, you yourself have never done, right? You've never seen these alleged photos, correct?
No, but
No.
it's actually the.
Why would you
it's
go
the
around
same
saying
thing with the
that
national-
there are pictures of cities on the moon if you yourself have never seen them?
Well, because I heard it on a late night, 2 o'clock in the morning when I used to have that show here.
Yeah, you're talking about the overnight kook show?
Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast?
Yeah, they banned that show 5 years ago.
No, they didn't.
But I used to say,
Who's they?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited here if you want. You can join us on the radio waves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about your privacy, or the lack thereof it these days, because apparently you can't even get on the road without having somebody in the government or some corporation tracking not quite your every move, but darn close to it. And of course, if you've got a cell phone on you, then yeah, your every move. But even if you are trying to take some sort of provision to be a little bit more private, let's say you've pulled the battery out the back of your cell phone or something like that, and you want to be off the grid. Well, sorry,
I don't trust that.
Sorry. Well, you think there's a secret battery inside the cell phone?
So if you take the battery out your cell phone, it's kind of like your car. There's still some, or even just a computer. There's still something in there that's enough to save something. Like, you don't lose all your data when you pull your battery out your phone.
No. But there's no way for them to. Yes, of course, your data is on your SD card or the RAM that's in the phone. but it's not accessible by anything at that point. If there's no power to the device, unless there's an RFID device in the phone, and then as you are passing by an RFID reader, it could then, in theory, pick up the fact that your phone is present, which is a possibility. How likely that possibility is, I don't know.
I don't trust I don't trust it to be unreadable. I mean, if you have to be away from your phone, be away from your phone.
Sure.
Or maybe like a microwave or something like that would work. Maybe. I don't know enough about it.
It's a bad idea to put your phone in the microwave and
you don't
turn
the microwave on. Okay? But presumably your microwave can stop.
You're saying because there's a cage, a Faraday cage around the microwave? Yeah, that's true. So we're talking about the DEA expanding their program. It started in 2008. They're going to be adding more license plate reading devices to those signs they've got on the side of the road, those animated signs, the flashing signs where it tells you what your speed is as you're going by, those signs. Those may already have secret license plate readers in them. And it would be very interesting, because I know I've seen one in where you live, Mark. I've seen it in that town. Yep. I won't say where, but I've seen it. It would be interesting to put in a Freedom of Information Act for anybody, where you see one of these signs in use, to put in a Freedom of Information Act request where you live to the police department, requesting whether or not they're partnered up with the DEA. Did this sign come from the DEA? Has it been retrofitted by the DEA? Does this sign that you're utilizing, or any of the signs that you're utilizing, Mr. Police Department person, does this have a license plate scanner in it? That would seem like a legitimate Freedom of Information Act request, and could go at least a little ways towards reassuring people or informing them that they are indeed being spied upon. The story here from QZQuartz.com reporting that some of these cameras can capture what they call contextual photos, which include shots of the driver and passengers. Companies like Palantir Technologies, which was co-founded by controversial venture capitalist Peter Thiel in 2003, are incorporating facial recognition technology into license plate reader software. Officers can access Vigilance intelligence-led policing package on their mobile phones. So there's a mobile app to allow the police to take a look at who's passing by their little signage device. Law professor Andrew Ferguson, former public defender and author of 2017's, looks like a book, The Rise of Big Data Policing, Surveillance, Race, and the Future of Law Enforcement, said the DEA, quote, finds itself at the intersection of new technology scandals, and because they maintain both domestic and international jurisdiction, and thus can argue the need to use surveillance tools that would not be acceptable in a purely local law enforcement. He said further, for example, most other domestic law enforcement agencies couldn't claim any right to know information from secret NSA wiretaps, but because the DEA can claim that they're tracking international drug traffickers and thus need to know information obtained outside the states, they can use invasive techniques domestically. In addition, the DEA has largely worked under the radar, as our national approach to large-scale drug prosecutions has not changed from administration to administration. The DEA has been funded, and with federal funds comes playing around with new surveillance technologies. Jay Stanley, senior analyst with the ACLU's Speech Privacy and Technology Project, told courts he thinks it's wrong for the government to arbitrarily collect such a broad swath of data in the first place. Holding on to it for future analysis only makes things worse, he says. However, the law enforcement community at large argues that none of this data is being used to spy on everyday Americans.
What's the problem?
Yeah, guys, come on. You trust us. We're officer friendly.
Well,
didn't you learn anything in school?
So are they alleging that no everyday Americans drive past these points ever? Because unless that's what they're alleging, they're wrong.
Joe Giaclone said...
Well, hold on. It's really important to point out that the National Security Agency, when asked if they were spying on Americans multiple times during the Edward Snowden situation and several times before that, several data leaks before that, were shown to be lying every step of the way. Like, they would say something, and then it would get shown as a lie. They'd say something more. It'd be a lie.
Are you saying the DEA would lie to people?
Yes. I mean, it needs to be really pointed out. These people are lying when they say that they're not taking this data and creating a giant database about Americans' movements.
Right.
What else would you do with that?
Right. I mean, it's their job is to investigate. Everybody's committed a crime. Everybody listening to me right now is a felon, whether they believe it or not. They don't have to believe me. They could just go. Don't worry. You talk to police enough, you'll find out that you've committed a felony, and then you'll be off to jail. So when you consider that everybody's a felon, then police are investigating everybody.
They are
legitimately. So if they're not
legally, yeah. Well, I mean, legitimate is sort of a synonym for legal, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay.
Okay. Well,
I heard it was.
you presume that most investigations are legitimate. I get where you're coming from. But really what they're hired to do is to investigate everybody because everybody is a felon. So yes, they're lying or they're fools. You pick.
The former NYPD detective Joe Giaclone commented saying, "We don't know when somebody's going to commit a crime. We don't know when somebody's going to run over somebody and take off. So that data should be there forever. We never know when we're going to need it."
So no one is going to retroactively hit somebody and then take off? So like if you erase the records and do just regular updating for your data, nobody's going to retroactively be like, oh, they erased the records. Let me go back through time and hit somebody and run off. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If no one hit somebody and ran off, no matter how long you keep or don't keep the data, no one hit somebody and ran off.
Well, but he's arguing that, information could come out later about a thing that happened years ago. Like they might want to find out where Bill Cosby was driving around, a decade ago or whatever. If he can drive. I've heard he can't see anymore, but that's their argument, is that, well, there may be a time when we need this data, so it needs to be here forever. Look, don't you people want to catch criminals?
No, not really.
You want murderers and rapists and arsonists to just be running around hither and thither in the streets, driving about wherever it is they wish?
That is such an infinitesimally small amount of criminals.
Right. Yeah, but if we can catch just one murderer with this technology, isn't it worth having no privacy?
Your numbers up somewhere close to 50% of the murderers caught.
But isn't it worth it to get a killer off the streets? Are you saying you want to risk death in return for just a little bit of a loss of privacy?
If every time I went to a tree and I ate a piece of fruit off of that tree, and that fruit was poison, and then 1 out of 10 times it wasn't poison, then I would understand relatively quickly that's a poison tree. Yeah. The United States government, local governments, and governments around the world spend their time chasing non-crimes 9 out of 10 times. And if you're talking about getting that one murderer off the street, show me the government program that you've done that have gotten murderers off the street. And then
Jeffrey Dahmer.
We'll fund that.
John Wayne Gacy.
So let's fund police investigations of murders and just stay the heck out of...
we have to keep an eye on everybody because that's how we catch these people.
Because they're all criminals, because they've all smoked marijuana, because they've all bought drugs, because they've all got expired oxycodone in their...
Are you saying you don't want to find a bank robber?
Those things kind of seem like not... even though I don't necessarily think that they should be actionable... Doing things like washing clothes with bleach or cleaning your house with Lysol are also federal offenses. So just regular, normal people who think that they're upstanding citizens hopefully commit a felony at least once a week.
Cameras on your washer are coming soon. $8.55, $4.50 free.
This November, I'm running the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. 2018 has been a banner year for the Innocence Project. Since January, 9 of their clients have walked free. Innocent people who combined to serve more than 200 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. And because of the Innocence Project, the risk of being wrongfully convicted has been greatly reduced for millions of people. October 2nd is International Wrongful Conviction Day. It's an opportunity to draw attention to the countless innocent men and women who remain behind bars and the need to reform our broken criminal justice system to prevent wrongful convictions. At any given time, the Innocence Project represents 200 clients who need their help to prove their innocence. This year, the Innocence Project helped pass a first-in-the-nation prosecutorial oversight law in New York and eyewitness identification reforms in New Hampshire and Louisiana. You can help the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on our toll-free number. It's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. A lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Raw Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author. He's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. Since September of 2013, Tom Woods has been putting out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday. That means he's racked up over 1,200 episodes so far. Guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. Topics including war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find The Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. We're talking about the license plate scanners that are secretly being installed and have been installed apparently over the last decade in various different speeding signs. You know, the ones where they're flashing your current speed as you're approaching it. If you got a radar detector, it's usually going all ballistic as you're approaching these things. Those signs, apparently a number of them, and we don't know what percentage of them at this point, but we know that the program is expanding dramatically with a fresh order for new sign modifications from the DEA. That is expected, by the way, according to the story at QZ.com, expected to take delivery of their order by October 15th. So this is right around the corner when they're going to be rolling these out. So if it's not already in a street corner near you, then it may be coming soon. The ability for the federal, local, state governments, and they said even tribal governments here, so they're really just, loading up on the multi-jurisdictional task force to find out where it is you're going and everybody else is going at all times, day and night, with a live, accessible database, even with a mobile app for police to easily able to pull up not only information about what license plates are where, but some of these scanners have the ability to take your photograph in the same way that when you pass through, let's say, like for instance in Massachusetts, in some states like Massachusetts, they're making it so there's no more guards that take money from you at the toll booths. They're just getting rid of the humans, and they're just going completely personless there.
Right.
So you pass through those things, and if you don't have one of the little Easy Pass systems in your car, well, they'll just take a picture of your license plate and of your car, of like who's in the car at the time, and they will then send you a bill saying, they'll find your address based on the license plate number, and they'll send you a bill.
Or sometimes they'll just pull the person with the most similar names. I got a ticket from Easy Pass.
They'll pull a person what?
Pull a person with a similar name and just send them the bill. I got a ticket from Easy Pass from, I forgot what year it was from, but it was from before I had ever been in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I went to sign up for the account because I was like, okay, well, my job now goes to the toll. Let me just get an Easy Pass. And they were like, you can't, you're defaulted. I'm like, on what? I've never not paid the toll. And they're like, oh, well, you have this ticket from 2013 or whatever. And I'm like,
so they never
no,
even
I
sent
don't.
it? They didn't even send it to you?
No, because it wasn't me. They just pulled somebody with the same name and was like, oh, that must be you. They eventually straightened it out, but they are not good at math.
So a little bit more here from the story. Kabrina Chang, professor of law and ethics at Boston University's Questrom School of Business, told courts, quote, "We as a society have to think long and hard about the consequences. I don't think anyone would begrudge law enforcement help in doing their jobs. We all want them to do their jobs really, really well," she says. "But what are we willing to give up?" Unquote. And if law enforcement were just enforcing violent crimes, it would seem to be not as offensive. But we all know that government isn't like that. Government isn't this, fantasy creature that only goes out there and does the right thing, that only goes out there and targets the right person, that even if they were enforcing just violent crimes, there's been plenty of innocent people who've been targeted and locked up in that kind of enforcement as well. So it's hard to really give them an inch, but of course, as we've seen, they've taken a mile because people have given inches. They've accepted government tagging of their car. That was decades ago when that came out. I don't know. When did tags first hit the streets? Was it 100 years ago? It
has to be close to that.
Did they have tags when it was horse-driven carriages? I don't know. But if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us. Let's go to the phones. To the phone, we got Bad Slave on the line here. He's calling from New Hampshire, listening to LRN.FM. Go ahead, Bad Slave.
Hi.
Hey there.
Thank you for taking the call. I just want to say that the amount of government required to do what they're doing with regards just license plates, but of course they're doing it in way more areas than license plates.
Sure. How about checkpoints?
And of course that really requires not only identifying the car and the plate, but it has to identify the person sitting in it. And there, there was never meant to be a jurisdiction that reached out through technology to actually, impugn people and sanction them for things that are just kind of created out of the reality of the crypto police state that we live in. It's freaking me out that people are sitting here looking at this stuff. I mean, I've been watching this go on, for 5 decades.
Yeah, decades.
And the slow creep. I mean, the amount of people involved in keeping track of other people is just bizarre and
it's
you know,
crazy.
it is the worst.
And creepy.
It's the worst thing that people could ever put up with. And yet people think it's, oh, well, I mean, I guess.
Well, I wonder, what do people think about this? I mean, it would be interesting to get a public opinion poll and see, you know, oh, yeah, track me everywhere. As long as it catches a bad guy.
I had a conversation with somebody today.
Yeah, really?
Where my wife happened to be around, and they were just talking about paranoia. This person works at a mental health facility. And, you know, basically, I said something to the effect of, but the NSA is watching you. It's not paranoia if it's true.
Yeah, I mean, if they cops to it, it's more of a conspiracy theory to think that they're lying.
She and my wife had a good chuckle about how crazy I sound. Right.
They would never watch us.
Well, I mean, they didn't say that.
People.
They just laugh.
Was it like an uncomfortable laughter?
No.
Or was it like a haha, you crazy nut job?
Well, I mean, it's funny because
your husband is a crazy
sound
man.
like a crazy guy because the government is watching you. Well, they are watching you, and crazy people say the government is watching them. Like, there's two things that are true. Crazy people believe that the government is watching them, or large corporations or whomever. Some nefarious large organization is watching them. And some nefarious large organization is watching you. So both of these statements are true. One is psychotic, in that you may think that they've, got these, black SUVs following you around or black helicopters flying after you or whatever.
Well, the helicopters are usually pretty easy to detect.
But they're not flying helicopters after you. You're not worth it.
Right.
However, they are grabbing your metadata, and if you don't think
Every
they're
chance they can get.
Right. We know they're grabbing your metadata. And if you presume they're not grabbing your actual data, you're a fool. Why would they not do that? Oh, they have laws? They don't care about their laws. They've shown over and over again they believe that they are above their own laws.
Bad Slave, other comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just watched a video that was narrated by Larkin Rose, and it was a video of an Uber driver, recording, because he's got the dash cam and everything, recording a stop. And the cop admitted there was no reason for the stop. His claim was that the guy had actually not used his turn signal. Well, unless there's somebody that can actually see your turn signal, adjacent to your car, you don't need to use a turn signal. There's no requirement for it. And so the guy just pulled this guy over. I mean, and the cop tried to say, well, you were trying to avoid me, you made that turn and you did this and you did that. He was just going right to his Uber driver customers and picking them up. And this cop pulled him over, and then, he was just saying that, wow, he was just going to get his name and birth date and go on and not actually even look at his
Bad Slave, thanks for the call
driver's
tonight. I
license.
appreciate it. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can always trust the police, right? They don't want to arrest you. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Yes, they do. They want to put as many warm bodies in cold cells as they possibly can. It's Free Talk Live. Hour 2 next.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com. That's gusset.com. Or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of September 29th and 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,192 per ounce. Zen is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,568. Antiwar.com reports conflicting reports emerged on Friday about negotiations between the Taliban and Afghan governments earlier in the week. Anonymous Taliban officials were quoted as saying such talks took place and ended with an agreement for a prisoner exchange. Indeed, one official suggested that some Taliban had already been released since the talks. Yet, the official Taliban spokesman issued a contrary statement insisting that no such talks ever happened. They also reported that planned talks with the U.S. fell through at the last minute for certain reasons. The Taliban-Afghan talks had been reported to be planned before, with the talks expected, as since reported, as the Afghan government wanted security guarantees for the October election and wanted detained Taliban members freed in return. With conflicting statements and the Afghan government refusing comment, there is no way of knowing whether the talks actually happened or if a deal was struck. Reports of detainees being released are similarly impossible to confirm since the Taliban never made the list of sought releases public. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a Facebook feature that allows users to view their profile the way others would see it allowed hackers potential access to millions of accounts, according to the company on Friday. Guy Rosen, Facebook Vice President of Product Management, says the social network discovered the bug on Tuesday and that it affected as many as 50 million users. Rosen said in a Facebook blog post on Friday, it's clear that attackers exploited a vulnerability in Facebook's code that impacted View As, a feature that lets people see what their own profile looks like to someone else. This allowed them to steal Facebook Access tokens, which they could then use to take over people's accounts. Tokens allow users to remain logged into Facebook so they don't have to keep re-entering their passwords every time they want access. Rosen said Facebook is in the early stages of investigation and has not yet determined whether any accounts were misused or if any information was accessed. He said, "We don't know who's behind these attacks or where they're based. We're working hard to better understand these details, and we will update this post when we have more information or if the facts change." Facebook said it fixed the flaw and notified law enforcement of the hacking. The company also has reset access tokens for the affected accounts and another 40 million accounts that have used the View As feature in the past year. All 90 million of those accounts must log back into Facebook, where they will see a notification explaining the incident. The company also said it is temporarily disabling the View As feature until it conducts a security review. Facebook said there is no need for users to change their passwords. FPP Radio News is brought to you by the Doublespeak Dictionary. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Walgreens will pay $34.5 million to settle charges that it misled investors about the increased risk that it would miss a key financial goal related to its merger in 2012, according to a top U.S. security regulator on Friday. The Securities and Exchange Commission said it had also charged former Chief Executive Officer Gregory Wasson and former finance head Wade Michelon, who agreed to each pay $160,000 in penalties. Walgreens said in a statement the settlement does not involve any current officers or executives, nor does it allege that anyone acted intentionally or recklessly at any time. The drugstore chain says it neither admits nor denies the SEC's allegations that the firm and its former top executives acted negligently. The SEC said both executives also consented to the order without admitting or denying their findings. Wasson and Michelon did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Reuters. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
I know I shouldn't, but these muffins are delicious.
And we'll share our favorite recipes later in the hour, but first our guest says don't give in to road rage. Stay calm behind the wheel and coolly plot your road revenge. Danny Preston is a defensive driving instructor who teaches people how to control their temper behind the wheel. Welcome, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Danny, there's nothing I hate more than getting cut off.
That drives me nuts. I want to scream out my window.
Getting into an argument with a stranger isn't going to accomplish anything but stress you out.
Well, how should you respond instead?
In 1996, some guy gave me the middle finger after I cut him off. I recognized him from TV. That's when I decided to become a defensive driving instructor, developing the skills I needed to eventually be invited on his show as an expert. Now, once you're there, it's just a simple matter of switching out his muffins with the ones you made yourself. How many did you eat?
What? I don't know.
Thank you so much for sharing your tips, Danny.
Danny is not my true name.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms open for you at discord.lrn.fm. As we launch into the second hour, it's Ian with you.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Coming up, Amazon looking at opening up physical retail locations. They're saying possibly 3,000 of them. We'll tell you more about what that's about. And, of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome on anything at all. Plus, is Netflix going to be letting its viewers choose the endings of its television shows and movies, which is kind of a strange concept. I'm not sure.
Well, they used to have those books.
Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So. Used to have, by the way. They came out when I was a kid.
They probably still have them, would be my guess.
Well, if they
still make books for kids.
People are buying them, they do, yeah.
So anyway, we can tell you about all those things here, and our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But Mark, you had a story that you wanted to share with us about the Pledge of Allegiance in a government school in Texas. Apparently a young lady objected to saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's going through, the court system? What's going on there?
Yeah, so this story is not new, but...
Okay. Well, it's a story that's been around for many, many years, but it's usually a different child in a different court system
in this case,
different school.
This situation isn't new either, but there is a situation in the case that's changed. Something
a new development.
Yeah, new development.
Okay.
So a student who refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance is expelled. Texas Attorney General backs the school. So everything's bigger in Texas, including the stupidity of their bureaucrats.
Is that actually in the article or you?
No, well, they wouldn't do that with the USA Today.
Well, I didn't know who the reporter was. You hadn't said that yet.
Today.
Okay. I didn't know if it was Reason or something.
Texans really believe you can't, if there's one group of Americans, and I don't have any idea what it's like in other countries, but if there's one group of Americans whom I have a very difficult time convincing that they do not live in the freest state in the Union, It's the idiots in Texas.
And they just now got constitutional carry. So
Is that right?
Within the past couple of years, they got open carry.
Yeah.
Oh, open carry. Okay, because here they call constitutional carry where you can carry concealed without a permit.
Yeah, so
You're right.
you
Open
couldn't.
carry.
Well, you couldn't. I don't think they have constitutional
They don't.
carry
I
at
bet
all
they
yet.
don't. No.
You couldn't have open carry of a pistol.
Texas is not
Yeah.
as gun friendly as New Hampshire. You can't go into the state house
Texas
with a gun
is
there.
not as gun friendly almost as like California.
Well, it's a bit of an
It's a little bit
exaggeration.
better than California.
Now you're
but
making them
that's,
mad.
Well,
so
they can
Texans
be mad.
are mad about that.
Yeah,
They can tell me why I'm wrong.
They
and
don't want to
can
be compared
mad.
to California.
Let's
Well,
see.
then stop acting like it.
Okay, so keep in mind the Freedom in the 50 States chart has been revised.
Yeah.
In the last year.
It has. Yeah.
This last
And
year.
Texas, I think, moved down.
No, it's
No?
pretty even from what I recall. But at this point,
Okay.
all we can do is recall.
You know what? I may. Well, okay. I may be looking at the business freedom because I remember Texas used to be very high business freedoms on the Freedom in the 50 States, and it is mid-pack at this point. So I believe it has been revised down.
Texas has been as low as the 28th freest state in the union, as high as the 18th state in the union, and currently rests at the 21st freest state in the
Mid-pack.
union. So mid-pack. Yeah. And if you tell Texans that their state is ordinary in the aspect
You're
of
average.
human freedom, they're just stunned.
Mm-hmm.
They like stunned to the point of all they can do is deny that this is true.
But everything's bigger.
It's a bunch of New England liberals that made this this situation and blah blah blah, right? And turns out that one of the guys who made the chart does live in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire was number one most of the time I was talking to Texans about how free their state was. But turns out that they just revised the list and moved New Hampshire down to number 2. So apparently, the guy, is not willing to lie in order to make his state better. And that's all I can say about that. But Texas, not particularly free. And Texans, hyper chauvinistic.
Let's go on.
Months after a student was expelled for refusing to stand for her school's Pledge of
Good for
Allegiance,
her.
the Texas Attorney General is intervening on the school's behalf. The mother of Winfred High School student senior India Landry launched a legal battle against the reason they can give her name now, by the way, is
She's
because-
over 18.
Yeah. Against the Houston area school, saying her daughter wasn't able to practice free speech. India, now 18, was sent home last year after sitting down during the pledge, or remaining seated during the pledge. Her mother, Kindry Landry, said that she came to pick up India. The school provided little details as to why her daughter was kicked out. Later, the principal told the mother she can't come to my school if she don't want to stand for the pledge. India said,
"Can't come to my school if she don't want to stand for the pledge."
India said she sat down during the pledge before this incident and wasn't punished. I don't think the flag is what it says it's for. The liberty and justice and all that. It's not obviously what's going on in America today.
Yes, this girl's awesome.
India said last year. Now, I don't know why she said it. And oftentimes...
Don't know why either, but she's right.
People will say this sort of thing, and, I will disagree with them based on the premises of saying it, right? Mm-hmm. It's not. Maybe she doesn't think it's freedom and justice because she doesn't get a free ice cream cone every week. I don't know what her reasons are. I do know, however... that that you have the right to kick somebody out of your school, and that a person has a right not to stand for the pledge. And when those two things collide, you have to look at one thing: who pays for the school?
Right.
If the answer is the public pays for the school, or the government pays for the school, well, then you have to honor the feelings of everybody who had to pay taxes.
You should. Otherwise, you ought to give her mom the money back. Because she, or the landlord, or whoever, because mom probably lives in a house or an apartment or whatever, and if mom owns the apartment, she's cutting the bill to the taxes or the mortgage company or whatever. She's paying those taxes, whether it's through her rent or it's directly via a check to the city.
Right. Once you divorce the ability to choose whether or not a person supports a given institution, once you take from them that choice, then that institution will do whatever the hell it wants.
Correct.
Right? That's
what's happening.
The school's going to teach whatever they want, whether it's new math or putting condoms on cucumbers, or that you don't deserve a free ice cream cone every week, whatever it is.
But keep paying.
Yeah. You don't like it, don't
But you
sit
can't
there.
necessarily leave as easily depending on where you are either.
Right. There's usually some sort of process, some sort of bureaucratic process to get your child out of their government school system. So what's that? You want to take your child into a place in which they don't have some sort of government permission slip? Well, we're not going to allow you to do that. What's that? You want to take your child out completely and, homeschool them or unschool them? Well, you're going to need to file a plan with us. Now, I don't know what it's like in Texas for homeschool, but in some states like California, it's incredibly abusive towards the parents that want to homeschool their kids.
According to Texas law, students must recite the pledge unless they have a parent or guardian's permission to opt out.
It's in the law.
Houston attorney Randall Kellen has filed a federal lawsuit on Landry's behalf. He argues that free speech protections also apply to silent protests.
Sure does.
School children cannot unilaterally refuse to participate in the pledge, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said in a statement this week, noting that Texas is one of 26 states with similar pledge statutes.
You must pledge your allegiance, children.
Yeah. So a Texas Attorney General, while he may get more votes for whatever position he goes for next, and that's a politically savvy move, defending the pledge, however, is wasting the money of Texans by fighting this because he knows that he's going to lose.
This isn't a waste of money. I mean, this is important for the state to make sure that they have people indoctrinated. They can't just have somebody breaking away from the Pledge of Allegiance and giving them other students' ideas.
This is the federal government that he's going to go up against, right? It's going to be, if it goes to the United States Supreme Court or...
Well, he's going up against the Texas government in federal court.
Okay. Landry, the student... is being represented by an attorney.
Correct.
That attorney is taking the case to federal court.
Correct. You said he was going up against the feds. He's going to federal court up against the Texas.
The feds are going to smack him across the head with their gavel. He's wrong. He's been shown to be wrong multiple times, and they're going to send him back to Texas with his tail between his legs.
By him, you mean the bureaucrat.
The Texas Attorney General is wrong, wrong. He's a savvy politician in that he's wasting his constituents' money on bringing this case forward because all the constituents are like, hell yeah! Hell yeah! Right? But while they get their beer money burned up in federal court on a case that's been solved decades ago.
Yeah, this is frivolous.
Yeah, I want to hear Melanie's analysis as
he ought to go to jail.
As somebody who, he's the Attorney General, said that's the last place he's going to end up. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Zencash is now Horizon, and Free Talk Live is giving away some Zen. I have selected a number between 1 and 999 to enter. Send an email with your transparent Zen address to Daryl@freetalklive.com. The subject line must be a number between 1 and 999. The person closest to the number will receive 1.75 Zen. Again, to enter, send an email with your Zen address to Daryl@freetalklive.com. Subject line being a number between 1 and 999.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of
where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here as we continue. We'll take your calls and thoughts about whatever's on your mind. On the way, the Amazon story, possibly opening up a cashierless store nearby you with up to 3,000 locations possibly being planned. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
We're talking right now about the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, that thing that was written back in the late 1800s by that socialist guy? You remember him, Francis Bellamy, the guy who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. This same guy happened to be what I think they called a Christian socialist at that time. And he wrote the Pledge of Allegiance to essentially indoctrinate people in the United States, and the youth ultimately, indoctrinate them with the ideas of the state and why the state is a good thing and why we need them. And, you know, just essentially it's just straight up propaganda.
There's also some evidence that he just did it to sell flags.
Well, he was a flag salesman, so there's that too. But it has ended up becoming...
And those two pieces of information ought to piss everybody off.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody ought to be mad about one of two things.
But it's hard to get mad about a thing that has been so inculcated into you from the very youngest of ages over and over and over again. I mean, every single day in the mornings, students around the United States are saying this brainwashing mantra. Because when you brainwash somebody, one of the ways that you do that, supposedly, is by having them repeat the same thing or repeating to them the same thing over and over again. That's kind of how advertising works. So
that's what it is.
Except this is really consistent level brainwashing. So with the story, Mark, that you're sharing with us, it's about a Texas school system that is going to court to back up their decision to say that this teenage girl who's now turned 18, so we know who she is, her name is, what was it? Israel? No, it was India. India was her name. India.
I'd like to say thank you, India.
Yeah, has refused to say the pledge. She was kicked out of the school. Kicked out, not just like grounded or whatever, not sent to in-school suspension, but completely booted out of the school. And the school's saying we are well within our rights. It's in Texas law. The Texas statutes say that you have to say the pledge. And Melanie, you called this frivolous, this lawsuit that's now going to federal court.
Yeah, there is no possible, assuming these facts are remotely accurate, there is no possible grounds for this case.
But it's there in Texas statutes.
So what? Like, that doesn't...
Are you saying that's unconstitutional? She's violating the statutes. That's a criminal charge.
It's definitely a violation of all Supreme Court case law.
Well, so you studied to be an attorney down in Louisiana. You're not an attorney today. You do accounting professionally, but you've certainly got the chops. So, I mean, can you cite, why this law is wrong and or unconstitutional or
compelled political speech, which is what this is? I mean,
but it doesn't take a side politically. It's not
yes, it does.
Pro-Republican or pro-Democrat.
You're making statements about the U.S. and mostly just the U.S., but that's still a political statement.
Well, they're compelling the students to even go to the school in the first place.
Going to school is not a political statement.
Well, they're certainly being indoctrinated with political ideas at that school.
This is not brainwashing. This is not brainwashing. This is not brainwashing. What amazes me is that the government can get somebody's kid for 13 years, for nearly half of their waking hours, over the course of their lifetime for 13 years, and they still spit out such crappy citizens. I mean, only the government can fail like this. By the way, this isn't failure. If you think the government is this bad then at what they're attempting to do, then you don't understand what they're attempting to do. They're very good at what they're attempting to do, which is to create a make-work program for government bureaucrats, and then create more make-work programs for government bureaucrats. The education system as it exists in this country is the most labor-intensive way that you could educate people today. It's the most labor-intensive. You need the highest educated people in order to teach, the smallest group of kids, the most stuff. You're not talking about giving them each a tablet and sitting them down and teaching them math. I mean, my son, the amount of time we spent teaching math is just infinitesimal. But somehow he's already able to do what I was able to do in like 5th grade.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want. We can talk more about the Pledge of Allegiance in these schools and the court case here. But first, you can bring up anything. Let's talk to Libertarian Banker. He's on the line on our Discord on-air call-in line. Go ahead, Banker.
Hey, guys. Great show tonight. I just want to call in and talk about Ripple, which is the cryptocurrency. XRP is the ticker symbol. But
this is one of the top cryptocurrencies in the world by market cap. Last time I looked, I think it was at number 3. I don't know where it is today. I don't have it in front of me. But this is like the banker's coin, right? This is the one that is sort of noteworthy because it's marketing itself to banks and ostensibly has some kind of contracts with some banks to help banks ostensibly transmit money from one to another. Is that basically what it's for?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I was calling in tonight, because they just announced, or at least I saw an article that came out today that said they were announcing on Monday that they had, which I guess is today, there you go, that they are announcing XRapid, which is their international transfer for currency for banks. It's the product that they have their salespeople selling to banks. And effectively what it does is it allows banks, I mean, everybody's heard of an international wire transfer, right? Well, international wire transfers take especially long. They're expensive as hell because every little bank along the way is going to take a little cut of whatever's being transferred. Well, this will allow somebody, that wanted to send money from, a bank that wants to send money in dollars to a bank in Mexico in pesos. They would basically transfer into XRP coin and transfer the money. And what I thought was really interesting about this is that, obviously this was their use case when they created the cryptocurrency, but they're really starting to kind of put that in place.
Is Ripple the corporation? Is it handling the conversions, meaning that it's providing a service to the bank to where it will give them the ability to transmit and then pay out ultimately in the currency in question on the receiving side?
Exactly. That's exactly what so it's a service that they're selling where banks will be able to transfer money relatively simply by transferring into XRP, transferring the money to the bank that it's owed to. I'm assuming there's some sort of guarantee of the interest rate over a certain period of time, because that'd definitely be important when transferring money. But I mean, it's really starting to grow from this. What this article said is that their customer base and their employees over the past year has doubled at Ripple. Obviously, that's because a lot of the money that's come in over the past year with the rise of the XRP token and cryptocurrency. But it just shows you that there is a huge need out there, I believe, for banks to transfer money cheaply. I mean, how annoying is it for an ACH, which is it takes 2 or 3 days to get an ACH to transfer from one bank to another, and then wire transfers cost $35, $40. What a heck of a solution this XRP coin is, I believe, for
if it's actually,
as well as banks.
If it's implementable in an affordable way and it actually can save banks money, then maybe the banks will make the move to that. I think it's interesting. I don't know if you have more to share. If you do, you can stand by. Libertarian banker with us talking about how cryptocurrencies are actually coming into the old banking system. It's Free Talk Live.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733, or you can call in on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. That's where Libertarian Banker called in. That's why he sounds almost like he's sitting here in the studio with us tonight. It's Ian here.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Speaking of cryptocurrencies, we're talking about that with Banker right now. We can continue to discuss the Pledge of Allegiance or get into the Amazon topic or whatever you want to talk about here. But Bitcoin.com is a great place to go to learn the basics. If you are hearing us discuss Ripple, you're like, what the heck is that? Well, it all kind of started from Bitcoin way back in 2009. In fact, we're coming up on, what is it? Isn't it like 10 years this month or somewhere around now that Satoshi released the white paper or something? There was some other thing that happened before the actual release of Bitcoin in 2009, and that's coming up around now. If not, we've already passed it. But it's been about 10 years now since Bitcoin was released, and it is changing the face of finance.
Ripple existed before Bitcoin, I believe. There was some kind of idea of transferring value and things like that. Bitcoin really kicked Ripple off.
Bitcoin.com is where you can go to learn more about the one that started it all. I don't know if I've heard the company Ripple existed. I didn't know that they actually had a working cryptocurrency product. I don't know.
I don't know that they had the coin necessarily, but the coin would have been something inside their system anyway.
SaveItPurse.com is a site that Bitcoin.com wants you to know about. It's a place you can go to save big time on your purchases at Amazon. I do it all the time. Whenever I need to buy something through Amazon, I go to SaveItPurse.com, and I usually save at least 20% on the thing that I'm looking to buy. In fact, we just opened up the Bitcoin Embassy here in Keene, New Hampshire, and it's the first one in the northeastern United States, the second one in the United States, and basically every single thing that's in that Bitcoin Embassy, as far as like the tables, the chairs, the screen that gets pulled, that all came from SaveItPurse.com. We saved 29% on most of those items. There was one thing I needed fast, and I only put that for 20%, but man, you can name your price discount over at SaveItPurse.com, and now Bitcoin.com wants you to know that you can deposit Bitcoin Cash into your account at SaveItPurse. So you can use either Bitcoin BTC or Bitcoin Cash BCH through SaveItPurse.com and save big time on your Amazon purchases. SaveAtPurse.com. If you don't have Bitcoin Cash or the other Bitcoin, then you can't save big time. You'd have to pay full Amazon prices. Do you really want to do that? If not, go to SaveItPurse.com today. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, Libertarian Banker is still with us here on the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You were telling us that the Ripple people have come out with some sort of product, some kind of solution for banks. This has been something they've been touting for a long time as their goal, and you're saying it's actually available or it's going to soon be available. What's the status on this?
So it's called XRapid, and it's available today. But real quick, Ripple was founded in 2012, and in 2013 they actually changed their name to Ripple. So it was
2012.
actually called, I think, OpenCoin before that. In 2012 when they first started. Anyway, so the point I wanted to make on this currency, but yes, it's called XRapid. It's an interbank it's a currency that allows banks to transfer currency internationally, to make transfers internationally at very little cost. So when I was on hold during the break there, I actually looked up the average price of an international outgoing wire transfer. So this is just to send an international wire.
I'm going to say $60.
Well, okay, so $49 basically.
Yep.
So $50 to send an international wire. Now that does not include the incoming fees as well. So there's fees on the other end. And a lot of people don't know that especially if you bank with a smaller bank, they actually use several intermediary banks to send that wire.
Right.
So a small bank may send it to a bank in New York that then transfers it to a bank in Madrid, who then transfers it to a small town in Spain somewhere.
So this cuts out all that middleman. Basically, you're just going from one bank to the Ripple XRapid thing to another bank.
Exactly. And so they're just facilitating that transfer. And like I said, there's got to be some kind of exchange rate guarantee that I'm sure happens. So that, that would be very important to banks, I would assume. So there's not a change from when it leaves the U.S. to when it arrives at its
Now, you
final
work at a bank, and we don't need to say which one, but I don't think it's a mega corporate bank, if I recall correctly, because you visited here and, we've talked about that. But is there any kind of action as far as Ripple's coming to, pitch you guys? Or are they focusing on Chase? Are they focusing on Bank of America? Are they focusing on the big banks?
Well, according to the article here, I mean, there's been no talk of that at any company I've worked with. But according to the article here, I wrote this down here. I think there were about, there were dozens of banks, according to this article, that had already signed on. Now, a lot of them, it had already said that they were not going to be big banks that signed on, according to this article. So it's going to be a lot of the smaller banks, more niche sort of banks. Bank Santander, there you go, a Spanish bank.
That's a big bank.
It's not small.
Yeah, in Spain, absolutely.
It's big in the U.S. I think they've got several hundred locations.
I'm sorry. My apologies. They have not signed on, but they have their own blockchain-based product that
Now, is this going to be a possible competitor to Ripple? Because, obviously Ripple is focusing on banks, but what if banks just come up with their own thing and they're like, well, we don't need yours.
It's called OnePay FX is apparently the name here, and I'll do research on that, maybe call on it in the future. But,
and what about Stellar Lumens, which is another top 10 cryptocurrency right now that, from what I remember hearing, was founded by one of the founders of Ripple, or more than one of the founders.
To basically do the same thing that they already do, that Ripple was doing.
Yeah, so obviously this is a competitive market, and that's what we want in money transfer, which has never been there. We've never had competition for international money transfer. Each bank charges a wire fee, but it all runs through the same government system that been transferring the money for.
Right, so domestic, I know the ACH system domestically is run through the Federal Reserve. I presume that's also true with the wires, right? Don't they have like Fed wire?
And obviously, the Fed charges some sort of wholesale rate, and then the banks charge, retail on top of that. So, depending on the competition, prices may be lower or higher, but there's still only one processor ultimately of that transaction, and it's governments and central banks.
Isn't there a concern? Is there a concern that the federal government is going to say, you banks, no, we need to have the ability to trace this information, and if you take it out of the Federal Reserve System, that means that it's not going to be as traceable, even if you have records. We need to have this going through the Federal Reserve System, so therefore we are prohibiting all of our member banks, which is all of them, from utilizing this system.
Obviously, I haven't seen any evidence of that, but my speculation would be that Ripple has already taken that into account and has already built in some sort of transfer reporting system for governments to look at. Any type of business approaching banks has got to take regulation into consideration when trying to sell them financial services. Because that's probably top two for banks.
I have heard a couple of my friends are big fans of Ripple and Monero specifically, and what they say is things like Ripple's for the inside the system transactions, Monero's for the outside the system transactions. These are the two horses to bet on. It's not that I have bet heavily on them. It's not that I haven't.
I don't have any Ripple personally.
I understand, but you're philosophically, not particularly aligned with inside the system transactions. You want everything outside the system. But
I'd like to see the system come down. Yeah, that'd be great.
Banks aren't going anywhere.
No, they're not, and that's going to be part of the challenge here for Ripple. Is that banks are old institutions. They are slow institutions, and it's going to be tough to pitch this new system to these old dinosaurs. And I think that's why you're saying that they're going to focus on the smaller banks. They may have a better chance of bringing a smaller bank on board.
It's better for to move more in a decentralized way with Ripple in the marketplace trying to decentralize transactions.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's not better.
Provide more competition.
I'm not saying it's not better. I'm saying the old banks are going to be slow to change on this. That's why they're probably targeting the smaller banks. So if they can get it going at some smaller banks and lower the wiring fees, maybe that'll incentivize these older banks to change their ways. This could take decades. There's more coming up.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do love some cryptocurrencies here on Free Talk Live, and one of them is Zen. Formerly known as Zencash, now called Horizen. Horizen is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. Yeah, Monero's definitely at the top of the heap as far as privacy coins are concerned, but Zen is a strong competitor, and they've got a whole lot more planned because Horizen is a much bigger plan than just cryptocurrency. They're talking about not just a private cryptocurrency. They've already got that with Zen. They've already got private chat as well.
By the way,
Zen network.
when you talk about, if you're going to compare Monero to Zen, what you would be comparing is an incredibly expensive transaction.
With Monero, you mean?
Monero is a very expensive transaction. Yeah. Zen is an incredibly cheap transaction.
Correct.
You get to choose whether or not you want it public.
Correct.
It's just to me, better.
It's more versatile.
Yeah. If you can get people to accept it, and certainly Monero has more currency as far as being accepted at this point. But Zen's, they're plugging along. And
you know what they need to do at Horizen is talk to the darknet markets. I don't know if they can publicly do something like that, but if they can get darknet markets to pick up Zen,
yeah, I would not be able to say.
That puts it on the map. But they've got a big plan for the future of the Horizen platform. So it's not just private chat, it's not just private crypto, which they have now. That's already happening at Horizen.global, Horizen.global. But in the future, they're planning to enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Now, that's a big plan. I believe they can pull this off. They've done some amazing work. Did I hear recently they put out some kind of a fix to the 51% attack? I heard a rumor. I have not heard directly from them, but that's what I've heard. Horizen is bringing privacy to life. Horizen.global, Horizen.global. And of course, as we hear more things officially from them, we will definitely let you know. As we continue here, we've got Libertarian Banker with us on the line. He's on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. So we're talking about the another cryptocurrency out there, which is sort of like a corporate crypto operated by a company called Ripple. And they are marketing a program called XRapid to banks that they want banks to pick up. Now, of course, you know, with any new product, especially one that is targeted towards old institutions like this. I mean, banks are dinosaurs as far as their age is concerned. They don't change their way of doing business very often because, well, they're federally regulated and there's a lot of controls on what they can and can't do, and they're sitting pretty, basically, as far as they don't have a whole lot of competition. Cryptocurrency brings competition to the world of banking, and that's why a lot of the banks are upset about it. Like Chase Bank's Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO over there, has been on the attack against cryptocurrency over the last few years. Other old school banker types have been very hostile towards cryptocurrencies. I mean, what is your speculation here? I mean, you know what it's like being in these board meetings in banks. Do you really think that this is something, Libertarian Banker, that banks are actually going to get excited about?
Honestly, I think banks don't even think about it right now, to be honest with you. I think this is so cutting edge. It's so off the radar of so many banks that it's not even really talked about, except in the more progressive, forward-thinking sort of boardrooms. I mean,
so how is it going to be that Ripple can come into a boardroom and say, hey, we've got this new XRapid product, and of course the first question is going to be, great, where can I send this Ripple to? Where can I use this XRapid? Oh, well, right now there's one bank in Hong Kong. There's one bank in South Africa. We've got 5 more banks to say they're going to come on board. I mean, that's not really valuable.
Well, obviously, it needs to build from scratch. I mean, you took Free Talk Live from one station up to, 100 and almost 200 that you've got today.
Sure, but that's a one-way delivery system. Yeah. With Free Talk Live, we're just trying to sell, pitch radio stations on taking the show. We don't have to have another station on the other end that they have to agree with something to. Like with banks, there's going to be a destination. Right, so these banks want to send money internationally, but if they don't want to send money to the one bank in Hong Kong that might be picking this up, I mean, I'm just speculating. I don't know how many banks they're going to have at launch. Maybe they'll have hundreds of them, but it's got to be a tough pitch, right, to start this from zero.
I guess my point was, was that it's not an overnight success. It's always something that takes time. And as you build and get more countries and central banks on board with this transaction system, then more and more demand happens to send it. Because,
is it a central bank that they have to get on board, or
obviously
the member banks?
That and member banks, but obviously central banks have to be on board to approve it from a regulatory perspective.
Well, let me ask you this.
Just gonna allow it to happen.
There's certainly an amount of cryptocurrency transactions that are going on in what they call the remittance marketplace.
Remittance,
right? So people in one country are saying, I want to help mom and dad back home.
Right.
And money's going all the time from rich countries to poor countries because somebody managed to get in and is working hard and trying to support the family.
But in those cases, you're using Western Union, you're using MoneyGram.
Right. So there's the main remittance marketplace, but now cryptos are creeping into the remittance marketplace. People find out little by little, word of mouth gets around. Hey, man, you can send money back to the people at home, and you can do it for half price.
If there's a way to get out, that's the trick, though, because if you can send Bitcoin to somebody in another country, but they can't do anything with it, then it's worthless.
If I could interject here, Ripple has already been competing with Western Union and MoneyGram with a couple of products they have called, according to this article here, is Mercury FX and Qlix. I don't even know how to say that one, but there's a couple of other payment companies that they've helped develop crypto products for that compete with Western Union and MoneyGram. So they've already, I think, pretty much conquered that market, and they're on to bigger things with this XRapid product. And so this is not for small transactions with, Jose sending money to his family in Guatemala. This is for big transactions between banks and settlement with purchase of, bonds and securities and other, tradable sort of debt assets. That's what they're buying with this crypto. It's banking. It's huge banking transactions. These are not small transactions. So, I think they've already pretty much, I feel like, put their needles into that market enough, into that smaller market is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I wish them the best. I'm not interested in buying Ripple personally, but I do hope they have success, because I would love to see banks become faster and banks become more competitive and have prices drop and, give me the opportunity to buy something that's not a wire transfer somewhere to move money through the banking system.
So I know I've talked about all the positives of it. Here's the one thing that I wanted to point out that I think is probably a negative part of how Ripple works, is there are currently 100 billion tokens out there of Ripple, and Ripple as the company actually owns 60% of those tokens. But 55 billion, according to what I've read online, or actually in this article, 55 billion of them are actually still in escrow and can be released over time into the marketplace to
manipulate the price.
Manipulate the price, exactly.
Yeah.
So Ripple only controls 13% right now, but imagine what, as a company controlling 60% of a currency, can do. So I think that's a huge
disturbing
thing that needs to be figured out.
Now I wonder if their competitors are doing something similar. Is Stellar Lumens working that way, or are they ought to be. Are they all in the marketplace? I don't know. It's interesting, and right now, according to CoinMarketCap, the Ripple is actually nipping at the toes of the number 2 crypto, which is Ethereum. Ethereum with a $23 billion market cap, $23.5 billion, and XRP Ripple with a $22.7 billion. So they are within $1 billion of one another, very, very close. Of course, neither of them are anywhere near the market cap of Bitcoin, which currently has 113.9. So Bitcoin BTC with almost 114 billion.
And Ripple had some tremendous moves in the last 2 weeks. They shot up more than 70% in a day.
Wow,
that's because of the speculation of this product right here.
Right. I see.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this article's talking about.
Good info, banker. You'll have to let us know when they come knocking on the door there at your local bank where you are an employee, and see if see what their pitch is like. It'd be interesting to hear what they're doing. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, because if they could, if Ripple could make it so somebody who joins this Ripple system doesn't have to worry about who the other partners are. If they can somehow make it so, well, if you join our system, then even if a bank isn't a Ripple partner, right? If they haven't joined the program yet,
right.
On the other end, we have somebody in that country who will send a domestic wire transfer to that bank. So, because right now the idea is that this Ripple thing is going to help banks internationally send money to one another. But if, on the other end, if some bank in Hong Kong that you want to send to hasn't signed on with Ripple, if Ripple can make it so, if Ripple can make it so they can still end up transmitting money to that bank on the other end,
that would be a big deal.
Cut out the international wire transfer aspect and then just send a domestic one on the other end. You could still, at the very least, lower costs. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it would certainly be helpful on pitching people, I think. Hour number 3 is next here. You can take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to GetTheTea.com and stock up on organic non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of September 29th and 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,192 per ounce. Zen is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,568. Antiwar.com reports conflicting reports emerged on Friday about negotiations between the Taliban and Afghan governments earlier in the week. Anonymous Taliban officials were quoted as saying such talks took place and ended with an agreement for a prisoner exchange. Indeed, one official suggested that some Taliban had already been released since the talks. Yet the official Taliban spokesman issued a contrary statement insisting that no such talks ever happened. They also reported that planned talks with the U.S. fell through at the last minute for certain reasons. The Taliban-Afghan talks had been reported to be planned before, with the talks expected, as since reported, as the Afghan government wanted security guarantees for the October election and wanted detained Taliban members freed in return. With conflicting statements and the Afghan government refusing comment, there is no way of knowing whether the talks actually happened or if a deal was struck. Reports of detainees being released are similarly impossible to confirm since the Taliban never made the list of sought releases public. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a Facebook feature that allows users to view their profile the way others would see it allowed hackers potential access to millions of accounts, according to the company on Friday. Guy Rosen, Facebook Vice President of Product Management, says the social network discovered the bug on Tuesday and that it affected as many as 50 million users. Rosen said in a Facebook blog post on Friday, it's clear that attackers exploited a vulnerability in Facebook's code that impacted View As, a feature that lets people see what their own profile looks like to someone else. This allowed them to steal Facebook Access tokens, which they could then use to take over people's accounts. Tokens allow users to remain logged into Facebook so they don't have to keep re-entering their passwords every time they want access. Rosen said Facebook is in the early stages of investigation and has not yet determined whether any accounts were misused or if any information was accessed. He said, "We don't know who's behind these attacks or where they're based. We're working hard to better understand these details, and we will update this post when we have more information or if the facts change." Facebook said it fixed the flaw and notified law enforcement of the hacking. The company also has reset access tokens for the affected accounts and another 40 million accounts that have used the View As feature in the past year. All 90 million of those accounts must log back into Facebook, where they will see a notification explaining the incident. The company also said it is temporarily disabling the View As feature until it conducts a security review. Facebook said there is no need for users to change their passwords. FPP Radio News is brought to you by the Doublespeak Dictionary. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Walgreens will pay $34.5 million to settle charges that it misled investors about the increased risk that it would miss a key financial goal related to its merger in 2012, according to a top U.S. security regulator on Friday. The Securities and Exchange Commission said it had also charged former Chief Executive Officer Gregory Wasson and former finance head Wade Micalone, who agreed to each pay $160,000 in penalties. Walgreens said in a statement the settlement does not involve any current officers or executives, nor does it allege that anyone acted intentionally or recklessly at any time. The drugstore chain says it neither admits nor denies the SEC's allegations that the firm and its former top executives acted negligently. The SEC said both executives also consented to the order without admitting or denying their findings. Wasson and Micalone did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Reuters. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Hollywood's biggest stars are rallying for a good cause this week with the Save Our Children campaign. Celebs like Jessica Simpson, Brad Pitt, and Gwyneth Paltrow headlined a charity event to help their suffering kids who desperately need a chance to live a normal life. Angelina Jolie talked to Starfix about the charity, saying, quote, "You don't have to be a mother to want to help my children, many of whom are not getting a proper education. If you look at the numbers, 1 in 5 of my children will struggle with drug problems." Joining us now is a representative from the charity, Julie Harrison. Julie, it was such a great cause.
Absolutely. We're talking about children who don't have any positive role models. They're born into a life they didn't ask for, and if the state's not going to step up and help these kids, it's time someone did something.
Here's a quote from Victoria Beckham, and I found this powerful. "It breaks my heart to think about these kids living somewhere in my house with no hope for a happy future. Who knows if they even have food to eat?" Julie, according to your group's website, a staggering number of STARS children are being exploited growing up without parents.
Right.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can dial in toll free. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. And there's a lot of features on our site that are free, including our chat room system over on Discord. If you don't have the Discord app yet, then you can grab that over at discordapp.com. We don't make money off of Discord. It's a free service. We don't have any investments in their app. It's just a cool app that people have been using now. We started it back in January, And there's hundreds of active as of the last month, the last 30 days, hundreds of users who've been active, over 500 of them on our Discord chat. There's usually about 100 active users at any moment. And of course, most of them are lurkers. So there's always people talking during the show. There's a Free Talk Live channel. There are other channels for some of the other shows at LRN.FM. There's also channels based on topics like cryptocurrency, gaming, New Hampshire news, and other stuff. So head on over to discord.lrn.fm. So once you get the app, you can go to discord.lrn.fm, and that gets you access to our chat server where, again, people are in there chatting, whether it's 4 in the morning or during our live show in the evenings, whatever time of day it is, because we've got international users. We've got one girl in there who's from Australia and other folks around the globe. So
yep, they're in there all different times. I check in every once in a while.
They really are. In fact, Melanie's in there tonight. I'm in there every single day. Head over to discord.lrn.fm. In fact, that's where we're going next for our first phone call of this hour, because we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, and that's where you can sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. And Olympus is on the line in Mississippi. Go ahead, Olympus.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
I just wanted to call and say that I wanted to talk about, you were talking about homeschooling earlier.
Yeah.
I've tried that a few different times with a couple of my 3 daughters, and each time it's completely failed, and it's been on the system's back, not because something I did.
So what are they requiring you to do
daughter,
there in Mississippi? What's
failing exactly?
Well, no, actually, the funny thing is I used to live in Kingston, right up the street from you guys. That's when I first started listening.
Is that Vermont?
New Hampshire.
Kingston, New Hampshire. Okay.
New Hampshire.
Okay.
My father used to work.
There's 200 towns here, man. I've never heard of Kingston. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and then we moved up to Brunswick, Maine, and when I was up there, I took my oldest daughter out of school and tried to homeschool her, and after 3 months, the school said no, she's going back into regular school now.
Whoa!
Because you can't teach her properly. You're not a correct educator.
Now this was in Maine where you had the trouble.
Yeah, right up right up from you guys, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I taught her all kinds of things. I mean, I had slideshows going on every day. I was doing crossword puzzles of physics.
You're doing a lot.
All kinds of stuff. She was in 8th or 9th grade. And, I was doing everything. And as far as phys ed goes, we went out, I took her to the gym with me. We did stuff like that. I mean, we did quite a bit. Then eventually we moved down to Mississippi because it was, we had family down here that needed us to come help them just live and take care of them. Well, while we were down here, my youngest daughter needed to be taken out of school and homeschooled because she's having medical problems. And she just couldn't stay in school. She'd say, I have to walk 3 flights of stairs. She'd get up a 1.5 and have a seizure.
Jeez.
Fall down a half a stair.
Right. You do not want to have a seizure on a flight of stairs.
Right.
Yeah. So we got her out of school, and I don't even think it was a month and a half, and the school said, nope, you can't teach her. Send her back to school. And I'm like,
this is my greatest fear.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
As a homeschool parent, this is my greatest fear: is that somehow the government schools, once they get their tentacles into you, they latch on. They don't want to let go. Now, my son's never been in a government school.
That makes it easier because then they don't necessarily know he exists, right?
Right. So if you go and you take $1 from somebody, they want that $1 back, whether they got it legitimately or not. They want that $1. However,
and each pupil means greater funding for those government schools.
Right. If you've got $1 that's your own and they've never had possession of that $1, then, this is a whole different story. And they've never had my son, so they don't see dollar signs around him quite as much.
Well, that doesn't help our call.
Well, no, it certainly doesn't. But it's my greatest fear.
When I grew up, I went to a school in Haverhill called St. Joe's, and when I went there, they didn't teach me any differently. They just taught me better. When you got a book, you read the book cover to cover. School, they didn't want you to read the book. They'd give you like a piece of a chapter and say, here, read this. And it's like, wait a minute, you're not giving me the whole story.
So what is it that happened in Mississippi when they came after you? Was it like a threatening letter? Did they send an agent? How did they?
No, they just sent me a letter. They actually threw me out of the school after a while because I had a fight with one of the teachers and the principal because I said this is stupid. This is ridiculous. Why should I be sitting here?
So they're forcing your daughter.
I can teach my kid just as good as you. Yeah.
So they're forcing your daughter to go to their school and at the same time telling you can't come talk to them?
No, well, that was a different school system.
Okay.
We've moved since then.
Okay. I thought you said they kicked you out. I thought you said Mississippi kicked you out.
No, not the state. Not the state. The school system.
They kicked you out, though.
When we moved to the other one, it's the same geographical county, but that particular place that we were living is almost like a private school. They don't play well with others, so to say. Now I know why, because they don't play well with others.
So I'm confused. So you've moved from one spot in Mississippi to a different spot in Mississippi to try to change schools?
Well, no, we lived in a place in one town. We moved from that town to another one because we actually physically moved in with the family that we were talking.
So it's a coincidence. You didn't move from one point to another to try to avoid the school system in one place versus the other. You just happened to move.
Most people don't move.
Did you ever get in contact with?
We luckily didn't have that problem.
Did you ever get in contact with any homeschool groups or other people in the area that homeschooled to see how they dealt with this?
No, I didn't because I didn't have enough time. I didn't.
So what's your status today? Is your daughter at this government school? What's going on right now?
Well, she is at a school. She is at school, but she has an elevator pass, so she can take the elevator. She doesn't have to walk up the stairs, and she has a few other concessions that they made. The typical stuff they do for handicapped people, and that's about all they did. They didn't. I mean, when it comes to things, and I said to her, like we were talking one day about her math class, and I was saying how is that possible? I said that wasn't the way it was when I was in school.
Right.
And she said, well, that's how they do the math, and I said, math doesn't change. Math is the exact same today as it was 20 years ago.
Right. It's that in and of itself is a little crazy.
Is this the new math thing?
I may have an idea on how to handle this.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's the only thing it can be. It's the new math.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I may have an idea on how to handle this. So there's, best I can tell, no real law that a parent can't live in one state and the child couldn't be a resident of another. And if you could figure out some way, shape, or form that your children are residents of some place that has a great deal of homeschool freedom, let's say Connecticut, and then they are simply traveling with you while you live in, they're visiting or whatever, these are all just terms, right? And at that point, then Mississippi doesn't have any rights to your girls, and they're just Connecticut homeschooled kids.
Yeah, you still got to figure out a way to get them out of the system, though. It's like getting somebody out of a prison. Hey, thanks, Olympus, for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. I do like Melanie's suggestion of getting in touch with local homeschool groups there in Mississippi and see, what other parents have done in these circumstances, because it's likely you're not the first person who's been threatened by these government goons. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite
is nutrition.
Dynavite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynavite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. That's where our last caller, Olympus, was. Sounded almost like he was sitting here in the studio with us. And with you in that studio, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
By the way, Discord is also a chat service we were telling you about before, so now that caller, Olympus, is in our chat room where he's actually getting resources from one of our lady listeners, Barefoot Finn. She put some organizations in the chat room that he might want to check out. She says the Homeschool Legal Defense Association is apparently a Christian-based organization. There's also the National Home Education Legal Defense, another legal defense organization. These people have probably had members or donators or whoever, you know.
They've had every problem you can imagine.
Yeah. They've probably run up against whatever it is you're running up against. And if they haven't, they probably have some ideas anyway as to how to handle it. So I would take her advice and reach out to those organizations and see if they have something they can do.
They can probably file a lawsuit and both of you make money.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
And talk about a lesson to learn, right?
If you've got a piece
teach your
of
kids
paper,
about the court system.
If you've got a piece of paper that says that some school system, some school district told you can't homeschool your kid, you're probably going to make money, unless you're in California, in which case you should move.
Right. Well, I mean, as he pointed out, he felt like they were obligated to come to Mississippi. But clearly, if you have the ability to move to a place where homeschooling is more accepted within a political structure, that would be the ideal, right? To go to a place. You mentioned Connecticut, Mark. I didn't know that was one of the better states.
So I've heard.
Is there a ranking on this somewhere? Is the Freedom of the 50 States look at school homeschooling, or they just look at education? I'd be curious to know, because I know that you've said New Hampshire's pretty good, but it may not be the best of them all.
New Hampshire's not the best on the paper. There are states which are more free, if you consider best and free to be the same term, on paper than New Hampshire. But let's see, states requiring no notice to the school district about homeschooling include Alaska, Connecticut, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Michigan, Missouri, New Jersey, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Nice. New Jersey. That's a surprise.
It's a real crapshoot.
Yeah.
So states with low regulation, then I would presume that New Hampshire's in there, but I don't see it on that particular list. Anyway, the states with high regulation, all the above regulations plus other requirements, curriculum approval by the state, teacher qualification of parents, or
curriculum approval,
home visit. Well, teacher qualification of parents?
That's awful.
The parents have to be teachers to do this.
So basically, the teachers' union has completely gotten their way.
Home visits by state officials include Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
So those are the worst of the worst. Stay out of those states. Also, if you care about homeschooling and you're a libertarian, then you really ought to move to New Hampshire, because there's a great homeschooling network here. Whenever there's some sort of regulation bill that comes forth for homeschool, the homeschoolers take their kids out and they go to the state house. I've seen this happen.
Oh, yeah.
They go to the state house and they flood the state house room, whatever hearing room they have.
Scare the heck out of those politicians.
Right. They bring all their kids out because, hey, this is a great learning experience. You come learn about how awful government is and how these scumbags are trying to, destroy your freedom.
Watch mommy and daddy scare the crap out of some politicians.
Well, it's important for them to bring the kids too, and they do.
I agree.
Overwhelmingly have their kids with them, because the government has, in New Hampshire, if you go to the government school, they have like a 4th grade class every year goes to the state house. They have every 4th grade class go to the state house, and they they inculcate them and indoctrinate them with the pro-state messages. And so it's nice to see the opposite thing happen, where the homeschoolers are coming in there like, hey, leave us alone.
Law, kids.
Leave us alone. Well, that's what they have the kids from 4th grade do. They have the 4th graders come up with, okay, well, this is the legislative process, and now you guys get to figure out what law that should get passed, because we want to control other people.
And then the little Johnny says, I think everybody should wear blue.
That's the kind of stuff.
Blue.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Yeah. Or like, I think the state juice should be apple juice, or whatever.
Right. Well, you're in really good shape when they just come up with what the state juice is, or the state tree sap, or whatever it is that they come up with. Yay, that's good news. However, many times they come up with some law that is anti-freedom, because I can assure you 4th graders are not very good about figuring out human freedom and how best to model a society.
And they're not being taught that.
Yeah. At this point,
not in school, not government
they're
school.
not even that great at not messing their pants every once in a while,
Man, I would hope that you'd gotten that one under control by 4th grade, but I remember some girl did pee herself in 2nd grade, so that was pretty embarrassing for her. The teacher forced her to stay in her seat, would not allow her to get out and go to the bathroom, so she had to go.
Well,
she had to go.
That's the teacher's fault.
It sure is. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I guess there probably wasn't more to say on this Texas story, Mark. If there was, please let us know what that was, where Texas
really
is fighting a case involving a student who was refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think that girl is a hero. I hope that
I don't know whether she's a hero or not.
She is, because she's refusing to do what she's told to do, refusing to go along to get along, refusing to be just one of the masses, refusing to do, just do as she's told, and stand up, girl, say those words. You need to say them in unison, chant with the other students here, because there's important brainwashing and indoctrination going on. And that's what this is all about. And so anybody who stands up against that, that's heroic in my book. They are unusual, and they're doing something that's brave and that could cause them to be punished in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
So
again,
good for her.
I have no idea why it is that
Doesn't
she's
matter
refusing
why.
to stay. Well,
It doesn't
yes,
matter
it does.
if she just wants to be, contrary, or if she's actually got some sort of principle behind this. To
All right.
me.
So if you wanna call somebody brave, you need to acknowledge that people do brave acts for really bad reasons.
Of
right?
course, yeah,
Okay.
like working in the military.
Most people don't do that. Well, I mean, you got to say there were brave Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
you have to say that, but and you may be willing to say that. But
There are all kinds of acts of bravery within government militaries, but almost always they're doing something evil.
So bravery and virtue are not the same thing.
Correct. But in my opinion, it's virtuous to simply disobey the state. And so it doesn't matter in
It's
what...
brave. I'm not going to call it virtuous.
It is
So,
because it breaks...
If the reason
it's iconoclastic.
No,
and
it's ridiculous.
Yes,
the
it
state,
is.
The state has rules on not murdering people. Going out and murdering somebody is not virtuous.
I'm not
because-
talking about that.
I
We're
know
talking
you're
about the
not,
Pledge of
but
Allegiance.
you have a stupid system, and I'm trying
We're
to break
talking
you.
about the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right, I understand.
It is iconoclastic to not stand for the pledge. It doesn't matter what your reasons are.
No, it absolutely matters. If you do the right things for the wrong reasons, you're an a-hole, okay? At the very best, you're an a-hole.
I don't care if it's an a-hole who doesn't stand up for the pledge. Anybody who doesn't stand up for the pledge is doing the right thing. They're doing iconoclasm,
No,
which is the destruction
it's
of
not
ideas.
True.
Hmm?
No,
It
it's not
is
true.
absolutely true. If you've never seen in your entire school history a person disobey the Pledge of Allegiance, and then all of a sudden you see it, then you're seeing somebody go against the grain, and there's value in that. There's more coming up here in moments. 855 450 free. Now, whether they're doing it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, the fact that they're doing it, I support it. 855 450 3733. We got time for you if you want to join us here. Coming up, Amazon to open up maybe 3,000 stores with no cashiers by 2021.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
After decades of searching the cosmos, today NASA announced that what it was really looking for was right here on planet Earth all along.
For years, we've foolishly chased after comets, moons, and stars. Outer space may be beautiful, but it's not as beautiful as the smile of a child, nor as sublime as a good bottle of wine shared among friends. Our search ends where it began, here on this big blue marble.
Astronomers say that while their telescopes were pointing at Mars, they never even noticed the planet that was right in front of them. NASA now plans to appreciate what they already have. The agency's latest report, entitled Wonder is Everywhere, Finding the Beauty in the Everyday, calls for further study of the little things that truly give life meaning.
Warm rain on a summer day, the smell of pine trees, touching the worn paper of your favorite book, that's what's always made us happy, not some asteroid a million miles away.
This is the Onion News Network.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is toll-free. It's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You jump into those rooms, we'll join you there, and we'll put you on the radio. You'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us tonight. It's Ian here.
Melanie.
And Mark.
4th Texas Bitcoin Conference is coming up this month. We are about 4 weeks away from it at this point. It's October 27th and 28th, happening in Austin, Texas, and it's always a great event for networking, innovation, and entertainment. This year, speakers include Paul Snow of Factom, Bruce Fenton of Ravencoin, and Professor John Griffin, and more. You can go to TexasBitcoinConference.com and grab your tickets now. Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event, as we have done every single year of the Texas Bitcoin Conference. And it's just gotten better and better over time. So it's going to be great. And it was great the first year, but it's even better now because, you know, once you start doing these things, you settle in and you learn how to run a convention and you just keep making constant improvements.
I can't wait to see our Texas listeners.
That's right, TexasBitcoinConference.com. Yeah, we've had some folks come to multiple Bitcoin conferences in Texas. We've seen them more than once. But if you've never gone, this is a great year to go. October 27th and 28th in Austin. Go to TexasBitcoinConference.com. We will see you there. Big news coming out of Amazon. Bloomberg reporting that Amazon.com is considering a plan to open as many as 3,000 new Amazon Go cashierless stores in the next few years, according to people familiar with the matter. An aggressive and costly expansion that would threaten convenience chains like 7-Eleven, quick service sandwich shops like Subway and Panera Bread, as well as mom-and-pop pizzerias and taco trucks.
Wait a second. It's cashierless.
Correct.
Sandwich shop.
Cashierless stores that sell a variety of food items.
I have not seen a cashierless sandwich shop before. In one hand,
correct.
I think of
this is a new idea.
The coinettes.
What is that? Like a laundromat?
No, a coinette, I believe that's the terminology. This is where you would go in, they'd have tables and chairs, and somebody would maybe go around and wipe the tables, but they would sell you your food out of pay machines.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you ate the food, whatever it might be, then they'd restock that stuff.
It's like an automat or something like that?
Yeah, maybe automat. Maybe that's the term that I'm thinking of. I'm not exactly sure. I've heard different terms. But
have you been to one of those places?
No. I mean, these things are from like Laverne and Shirley.
Right, they're old.
Yeah. I can't imagine this working.
Well, you may recall, Mark, I don't know if you were on the show and we talked about it in 2016, and they're going to get into it here in a moment, but they've already tested this.
Okay, good.
So it already works. Now the question is, can they roll it out nationwide? Chief Executive Officer.
If I've got the choice to choose between going to a Subway and watching somebody make my sandwich versus just going and getting something out of some little refrigerator someplace, I can tell you, I already have that option. I can go to 7-Eleven and get a slightly cheaper sandwich, and I do not do it.
You may not, but somebody out there is probably very much interested in just grabbing and going.
Maybe.
You don't want to stand there for 10 minutes. You don't want to wait in line, because sometimes Subway's not slow about making the sandwich once they start it. But if you're waiting in line behind 5 people,
it's not pleasant.
That's why I've actually used with Subway. And again, they're not an advertiser or anything like that, but they've got internet ordering. I'll order on the internet, and then it usually speeds things up for me, because then I can just walk in and be like, "Yep, I already paid for that. That's mine." And they hand it to me. I leave them a tip, and then I leave.
Yeah.
So it's a lot faster that way. But if you're behind 5 people and you got to wait, that's what, 20 minutes maybe, depending on 15 minutes, depending on how fast they are. So Jeff Bezos sees eliminating mealtime logjams in busy cities as the best way for Amazon to reinvent the brick-and-mortar shopping experience, where most spending still occurs. But he's still experimenting with the best format: a convenience store that sells fresh prepared foods, as well as a limited grocery selection similar to 7-Eleven franchises, or a place to simply pick up a quick bite to eat for people in a rush, similar to UK-based chain Pret a Manger, one of the people said.
Pret a Manger.
A Amazon spokesperson declined to comment. The company unveiled its first cashierless store near its headquarters in Seattle in 2016 and has since announced 2 additional sites in Seattle and 1 in Chicago. 2 of the new stores offer only a limited selection of salads, sandwiches, and snacks, showing that Amazon is experimenting with the concept simply as meal-on-the-run option. 2 other stores, including the original Amazon Go, is what they're calling it, also have a small selection of groceries, making it more akin to a convenience store.
So have you heard of this concept of the long tail? How
what is it? I've heard of it, but please tell us what that is.
Yeah, so when you think about certain industries, retail, that kind of thing, there's 1 retailer, 2 retailers, there's a small segment of retailers that makes most of the money.
Okay.
And as you get...
so Walmart,
Amazon. Now, when you look at Walmart and Amazon, you look at Google, you look at Facebook, it's not that they're a profitable company with profitable segments. It's that they're a profitable company that really has 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 really profitable products. And I think that Amazon's making a mistake here. I think that they're going to find that maybe they can afford the mistake, but I think that, just because it's Amazon doesn't mean it's going to be successful.
No doubt.
Amazon fails all the time.
Of course. Same thing's true with Apple, right? Like, Apple's had some spectacular failures over the years, but they've got some real successes as well. So what makes you think this isn't going to work?
It just doesn't seem like it makes any sense to me. The idea of going into, cashierless stuff, and I just don't think it's going to fly. Personally.
Okay. Well, the way it works, and when we first talked about this a couple of years ago, we explained it at that time, but this is how it works. Shoppers use a smartphone app, so their Amazon app, to enter the store.
Now I got to get on my phone to walk in the store. That's great.
Yes, that's right.
I don't want to do that.
No, again, this isn't for everybody, Mark, but then again, you're not exactly a millennial working in a big city, are you?
No.
Right?
Look,
so
if it's convenient.
These guys have their phone in their hands all the time. They're on their way to work, they're on their break or whatever, they're on their phone. So for them, pulling up an app as they walk into a store ain't nothing. No big deal. They walk into the store, they scan their phones at a turnstile. They can then grab what they want from a range of selection, salads, sandwiches, drinks, snacks, and then walk out without stopping at a cash register. So if you're a time-challenged person, and these days people are very time-challenged, or at least they certainly perceive that they are, if you're busy, whether you're in a city or you're busy not in a city, if this store exists, you save time by not having to stand at a cash register. I mean, that's a time saver, and it's going to add up over time. One day it might save you 5 minutes, another day it might save you 10 minutes, and over a year of working every single day, grabbing lunch at this place, that can save a significant amount of time. So I think it could work.
What are you? It's not like you're gonna do anything productive.
No, you're just gonna sit on your phone outside. Outside.
And you can't put it all together and be like, oh, I'm gonna go.
Get a vacation or something.
Change my engine. It's scattered around.
But ultimately, if the prices are lower and the time is lower,
it's going to win. Lower, sure.
It's going to win. Well, look, what's the number one cost in running a business?
Often personnel is
is the number one cost. Every business owner will tell you that's the number one cost.
They're not proposing to get rid of personnel.
Yes, they are.
No, they're
if
not.
You don't have cash. If you don't have people at cashiers, you're getting rid of your personnel. Some of them, not all of them.
Right.
You still have a chef back there making the sandwiches.
Personnel.
Yeah, it is. If your grocery store has 10% of their personnel is cashiers, I don't know what the.
Then that's a reduction in your personnel.
Yes.
That's not getting rid of.
Sorry, that's what I said. You're getting rid of some of your personnel. So if you've got a grocery store versus an Amazon Go, and you can, or a 7-Eleven or whatever, and you can cut down the number of staff that it would cost to run a similar size store, and therefore pass on the savings to customers. You're saving them on product
if
price.
If Amazon can show that they can do this, 7-Eleven can retrofit more quickly than Amazon can open stores.
You think so?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Maybe
if this works,
7-Eleven's
they've
our
already
franchise.
got the bricks and mortar.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're already in place.
And there is going to be an initial serious cost here of
prepare the silver platters for the heads
of rolling this out.
Restaurants in general don't tend to be that profitable. That just doesn't seem.
This is a market segment I want to rush into and drop billions of dollars.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win, but if they can reduce the cost of time and money, there's a good chance it might work out. Yep. More coming up here, and it's obviously worked out enough at their test stores, because if it didn't work in Seattle, then they probably wouldn't be rolling it out.
That's a systems test, not a profitability test.
Okay, more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved LicoChops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. Freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, Freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to Freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. Freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Enough time for you. If you jump on the lines now, we can get you in. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about Amazon Go, the new concept that they may be rolling out nationwide with up to 3,000 locations. It's in testing form for the last couple of years in Seattle and apparently Chicago. They opened up one there. And they're talking about making this a big thing, and we can get into it. Mark, you're saying it ain't going to work, and I'm saying it very well might. The toll-free number again,
well, anything might happen.
450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Oh, before we do that, I do want to let you know about, speaking of Amazon, they own Blink Home Security. They bought it within the last couple of years, and that's because Blink had created
Blink works.
Yeah, they'd created an amazing product that is a motion-activated wireless HD home security system. And there's no contracts, there's no subscriptions. The batteries in the cameras last for up to 2 years. It couldn't be set up much faster than it currently is. I mean, it is super easy to set this thing up. You pop the batteries in and put the cameras up, and then you just connect everything via your wireless device, like a tablet or a smartphone or a laptop. And it's super easy to do. Just go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You'll get your Blink security system there, which does work with Alexa, by the way. And you'll save 15% because you're a Free Talk Live listener. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue here, we go to David. He's in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live via the Discord on-air call-in lines. Go ahead.
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Say, does that Blink Protect, does it work for more than just your bling, like your regular stuff?
It's just a camera system. You can protect whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I don't have bling.
Okay.
It's cute. But go ahead. What you calling about?
Finishing up, we started last night. We got to the point of preponderance of evidence versus something, or in a criminal system, beyond a reasonable doubt. And I was trying to clarify that for you, Mark, and your listeners. And
you're talking about clarifying the difference between the two?
Yeah, well, yeah, and there's more, but we're just starting here, and we get as far as we get. So you got the civil side and you got the criminal side. Under criminal, if you're going to prove somebody guilty, you need to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. On the civil side, you need to. Oh, Melanie's sitting right there. She knows all about this, and she can correct where necessary, if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And on the civil side, you have a preponderance of evidence, but most people are not aware of that. In civil, they also use clear and convincing as a standard as compared to preponderance of evidence. And clear and convincing is pretty straightforward as to what it means. It needs to be clear and convincing.
I don't think that's straightforward at all, but that is a standard.
Right. Yeah. And let me pick up on that. I agree with you. I think that the verbiage that they use to describe the level of proof needed is not as clear as it could be, and they should be
nor is it convincing.
No, right. On the subject of preponderance of evidence, here's a real life courtroom example of how you can not treat people fairly in a venue like a courtroom that is supposedly, and you all know it's not, but supposedly supposed to be fair. So in real life, I was in a courtroom, and the in the context of the dissolution of relationship with children issue. And at the other table was represented by a lawyer, and I was not. And they come in one day and surprise me with this. And the fact that they surprised me is one issue, but that's not what I'm discussing right now. They asked the judge on the spot for an on-the-spot trial on their allegation that I had violated a court order by driving by the other person's home when there was a court order saying that there's no contact between the parties. And they conveniently had with them two ready, willing, able witnesses, kind of like a Lazy Ford type witness, that were ready to make statements. And what these two witnesses that surprised me when they put them on the stand, what they said is, yeah, we saw him drive by your house. They both said that. And since I was surprised and I did not have any other witnesses with me to try to preponder their evidence, since they had two witnesses that lied.
Wow.
And I didn't have any witnesses to lie.
So
then
no
they had
photograph.
The preponderance of,
no video, no photo, no video, no evidence beyond just somebody saying something.
Right.
Yeah,
the moral of the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just completely absurd to me that testimony counts as evidence whatsoever. But yeah.
Right. So the moral of the story is in that little snippet, at least in the courthouse I was in, before the judge I was before, Reed Shepard is his name, and I got more funny stories about him another time. But
did you drive by his house?
No, but you know what? After he decided the case and everybody else left the courtroom, and it was just me and Reed Shepard in the courtroom, I just slowly approached his desk and watched his eyes as I strolled up there, and then I reached for my no, I didn't. I just started talking to him. When I got up to him, I said to him, "They really fooled you." And he didn't say a word, but the look on his face knew that I wasn't lying to him, and that he had just
court security wasn't even in the room. It was just you and the judge. There was no bailiff.
No, not just me and Reed.
Wow, that's a rare moment. Thank you for the call tonight, David. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Very rare.
Yeah, we had a friend get thrown in jail for simply talking to a judge in like a stairwell. So just asking questions.
So let's continue here. We were talking about the Amazon Go, this new store chain. They're talking about rolling out big time, where you use a smartphone to enter the store at a turnstile, get what you want off the shelves, sandwiches, salads, whatever. They got a chef, prepping the stuff in the back, and then you walk out without stopping at a cash register. Sensors and computer technology detect what shoppers take, so probably RFID would be my guess, and then bills the shopper automatically, eliminating checkout lines. The challenge to Amazon's plan is the high cost of opening each location. This story from Bloomberg, by the way. The original Amazon Go in downtown Seattle required more than $1 million in hardware alone, according to a person familiar with the matter. Narrowing the focus to prepared food to go would reduce the upfront cost of opening each store because it would require fewer cameras and sensors, they say. But prepared foods also have a wider profit margin than groceries, which would help decrease the time it takes for the stores to become profitable. So it would be a large upfront investment, with the idea being that they could last long enough to make it so that having fewer employees would end up paying the bills. News of the company's potential ambitions sent Amazon shares of grocery and retail rivals lower, and Walmart's declined 0.6%.
I'm sorry, Amazon's stock dropped?
No, Walmart. They're the competitor. Walmart went down. Target went down 1.5%.
Target isn't, they're not in the convenience prepared food market.
They do have super Targets, from what I understand.
Hold on.
I've never seen them, but they
My
exist.
understanding is that you were painting these like 7-Elevens, not like
These are small. These are small. They're not large like Targets.
People aren't generally going to Target to grab a bite so that they can continue on with their day. They're generally grabbing a bite while they're at Target
Right. They're just pointing out that stocks do whatever they do. Anyway, Amazon's become the world's largest online retailer by offering a vast selection and quick, convenient delivery. In their physical stores, they're emphasizing convenience over selection to win business. Amazon's other brick-and-mortar initiatives include about 20 bookstores around the U.S. Who knew? And the natural grocery chain Whole Foods Market, acquired last year. Amazon Go is the most distinctive of all of its physical stores. At a Washington event last week in D.C., Bezos said Amazon was, quote, very interested in physical stores, but only if they have something new to offer. He says, quote, if we offer a Me Too product, it's not going to work.
I wonder if Bezos is going to give back all the tax cuts that Trump got him.
According to, or rather adding 3,000 convenience stores would make Amazon Go among the biggest chains in the U.S. The internet giant is considering plans to have about 10 locations open by the end of this year and 50 locations in major metro areas in 2019. Then they say as many as 3,000 by 2021.
As many as.
And this according to people who are on the inside who requested anonymity in discussing those plans. Opening multiple locations in proximity like they're doing in Seattle could help Amazon reduce costs by centralizing food production in one kitchen and serving that product out to many stores. The U.S. currently has 155,000 convenience stores, with 122,000 of them combined with gas stations. According to an industry group, non-fuel purchases at those convenience stores totaled $233 billion. So non-fuel, everything else, cigarettes, sandwiches, all that stuff, $233 billion in the year 2016.
Jeez.
So Amazon, it's going to be interesting to watch this happen if they roll this thing out.
Want to make a bet?
Absolutely not. We'll see you tomorrow night. You can join us online. In the meantime, head over to freetalklive.com. And big thanks to Dustin H., a Amplifier Platinum for many years. We appreciate that. You can amp the show over at amp.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of September 29th and 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,192 per ounce. Zen is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,568.
Antiwar.com reports conflicting reports emerged on Friday about negotiations between the Taliban and Afghan governments earlier in the week. Anonymous Taliban officials were quoted as saying such talks took place and ended with an agreement for a prisoner exchange. Indeed, one official suggested that some Taliban had already been released since the talks. Yet, the official Taliban spokesman issued a contrary statement insisting that no such talks ever happened. They also reported that planned talks with the U.S. fell through at the last minute for certain reasons. The Taliban-Afghan talks had been reported to be planned before, with the talks expected, as since reported, as the Afghan government wanted security guarantees for the October election and wanted detained Taliban members freed in return. With conflicting statements and the Afghan government refusing comment, there is no way of knowing whether the talks actually happened or if a deal was struck. Reports of detainees being released are similarly impossible to confirm since the Taliban never made the list of sought releases public. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a Facebook feature that allows users to view their profile the way others would see it allowed hackers potential access to millions of accounts, according to the company on Friday. Guy Rosen, Facebook Vice President of Product Management, says the social network discovered the bug on Tuesday and that it affected as many as 50 million users. Rosen said in a Facebook blog post on Friday, it's clear that attackers exploited a vulnerability in Facebook's code that impacted View As, a feature that lets people see what their own profile looks like to someone else. This allowed them to steal Facebook Access tokens, which they could then use to take over people's accounts. Tokens allow users to remain logged into Facebook so they don't have to keep re-entering their passwords every time they want access. Rosen said Facebook is in the early stages of investigation and has not yet determined whether any accounts were misused or if any information was accessed. He said, "We don't know who's behind these attacks or where they're based. We're working hard to better understand these details, and we will update this post when we have more information or if the facts change." Facebook said it fixed the flaw and notified law enforcement of the hacking. The company also has reset access tokens for the affected accounts and another 40 million accounts that have used the View As feature in the past year. All 90 million of those accounts must log back into Facebook, where they will see a notification explaining the incident. The company also said it is temporarily disabling the View As feature until it conducts a security review. Facebook said there is no need for users to change their passwords. FPP Radio News is brought to you by the Doublespeak Dictionary. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent, but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous, but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Walgreens will pay $34.5 million to settle charges that it misled investors about the increased risk that it would miss a key financial goal related to its merger in 2012, according to a top U.S. security regulator on Friday. The Securities and Exchange Commission said it had also charged former Chief Executive Officer Gregory Wasson and former finance head Wade Michelon, who agreed to each pay $160,000 in penalties. Walgreens said in a statement the settlement does not involve any current officers or executives, nor does it allege that anyone acted intentionally or recklessly at any time. The drugstore chain says it neither admits nor denies the SEC's allegations that the firm and its former top executives acted negligently. The SEC said both executives also consented to the order without admitting or denying their findings. Wasson and Michelon did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Reuters. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A local man feels even lazier when he thinks about how much ISIS has accomplished this year. A police officer doesn't see a difference between black and light-skinned black suspects. And a weak-willed termite eats a whole log in one sitting. Barreling forward on our campaign towards truth and righteousness, this is the Onion Week in Review. A new report released this week revealed that more parents than ever are relying on grandparents to help up their kids. The report's authors noted that in order to make ends meet, many budget-conscious parents in the U.S. have allowed their own parents to step in and deliver the same level of emotional neglect they would like to apply, adding that for many working adults, this arrangement was the only way to ensure their children were adequately belittled and ignored. In other news, Busch Gardens unveils their new 9,600-mile-long endurance coaster. A documentary provides a scathing indictment of the director's filmmaking skills, and a man brings his son into the office to see where dad is emasculated.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
No fear here. Declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEAU Default Studios of Freedom's on the Nest, freedomsphoenix.com. Paul Rosenberg. He wrote an article, update on the true vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. This because he had a little bit of experience back in the day. Those crypto hippies back in the early 90s, certainly, and it was heady time of what can we do with this stuff, and digital currency was always a thing. Plus, all the news and stuff that's going on, and he too's got to have an opinion about something, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. You got an opinion about anything, Paul?
Yeah, I've got opinions, Ernie. Those I have.
All right, well, we'll make sure we get some opinions from you. Let's see, Paul Rosenberg knows a lot about a lot of things. A lifestyle capitalist with a broad range of interests and experiences under his belt. Current passions include philosophy, theology, history, psychology, physics. This diverse interest base is reflected in his extensive repertoire of published titles, including A Lodging of Wayfaring Men. A lot of people didn't know who even wrote that because he was so, I don't know, ahead of his time. He was like, oh, hey, man, it wasn't me until it was him. The Words of the Founders and Production versus Plunder, not to mention 55 engineering and construction books. And what are you working on now? What's your most recent book? Breaking Dawn, most recent, I guess. You got another one coming?
Yeah, well, Breaking Dawn was the big one, and I co-wrote a book with Jonathan Logan, my partner, a crypto hippie, on the new age of intelligence. That's a big deal.
So it's not about Washington, right?
No, it's not about Washington. Well, I mean, there's, Fort Meade or Annapolis Park, which is just north of Washington. But, yeah, that crowd, some of them. And then I have new things I'm working on.
All right, cool. Well, this I read this article on Satoshi Nakamoto, and I was going, yeah, we got to talk about this because everybody, you forget what the whole point was, when it came, why, what was the history. Give us kind of an overview. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff, but I want to give you an opportunity to explain it to us.
Well, you want an overview of where this all came from?
Yeah, no, Satoshi. I mean, this the vision that you did. You went through his white paper. You read some. There's accumulated over at Satoshi Nakamoto Institute. They have a lot of stuff. I remember talking to the guys from over there a year or two ago, and I go, what started for me? It was that From Crossbows to Cryptography article, and they go, "Yep, got it right there." They have it, and I'm going, "Okay."
That was a big thing, wasn't it?
Well, it was for the audience. It was November of '87, '88. It was what could be done with cryptography, and the big thing was why the state doesn't like it, for the same reasons the king banned crossbows from the peasants, because it gave them power against his longbows and his knights. They just go, I'm plowing, they pull the crossbow out of the hay of the ox cart, the bolt to the chest of the knight, and they go back to plowing. And they go, no, 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 no. And you're not allowed to have cryptography either.
Right. Well, you're right. That was really the big thing. Once you really wrap your mind around what cryptography is, it's math, and it's math that can't really be broken, and you can't beat it with a weapon. You just can't. And once you realize
what about a law?
Yeah, well, laws amount to approximately zero in the face of math. Math just is. You can get impressive guys in impressive robes making scribbles on pieces of paper from now till kingdom come, but math just is. And until you can outlaw math, then the laws are nothing.
They wouldn't outlaw math. That'd be wrong. I mean, if they could, they would. That's the point. And
that's right.
And what Satoshi Nakamoto demonstrated was that they can't, and they don't like it. They can't beat them, join them. So here they come infiltrating, whatever. But where do you think, from your experience, Satoshi came from? Is it an individual, a group, a country? Is it the Red Chinese Army? I mean, what do you think is going on?
Satoshi, he, she, or they, was a cypherpunk. No question about it. They were in with this general group of people that were interested in applying strong cryptography in some of them began in the late 80s before me. And through till today, really. But the big surge in the group, which was what everybody remembered, the Cypherpunks news group, was in the 1990s. It was very big in 92, 93. Began to wane after a while. But these are the people that delivered strong cryptography to the world. Phil Zimmerman almost went to jail to get this to the world, and it was very clever what they did. It was a wonderful triumph, and it gave us strong cryptography. And so this was a very specific group of people. Satoshi was clearly one of these guys. He was interested right before he wrote Bitcoin. He was involved, or at least following, and I use he for convenience here. We don't really know who it is. Could have been a she. Could have been a small group. I think it was an individual, or maybe an individual with some help, but that's just my guess. They were following digital gold as well, e-gold and all of that. So Satoshi was clearly in this group of cypherpunks. No question about that to my mind.
Gold is. I remember when e-gold came out. We were doing. I remember when Zimmerman, first started. All right.
Yep.
So the audience knows this is how from old people how it happened. In the early '90s, I remember, probably about '94 or so. Became, I don't know how long before that it happened, but it certainly came to our attention that there was a guy named Phil Zimmerman, wasn't he a professor in Northern California or something? What did he do?
He was, I'm not sure what his job was. He was an activist. He was an anti-nuke guy. And I'm not sure what his day job was.
Well, he came up with this cryptography to where you have PGP, pretty good privacy, I think it stood for, and it was for emails. And what you would do is you had a public and a private key, and just that concept of a digital pair that you could, do. But it had more impact than just sending a secret message. That with the public key, you send a private key message, and only the public could open it and see what it was, or they could use the public key to send you messages and the private key would open it. Well, it validated who wrote stuff. It was not so much that he send you, secret messages and so on. It was to validate the message. You could send a message and it open and then have a little validation. This is me that wrote it. You public key break this private key or they match, then you know this was me, whoever me is. And, it's like now they do it with like QAnon or something, Q or whatever. They want to, is it really him? Well, he has this code. Who gives a crap? So
right. That was close. It was really based upon Diffie and Hellman, who were two guys who really came up with this process earlier. And it was a way to distribute keys, but it ended up coming out to pretty much what you're saying, that you could send to anybody. You could give half of the secret key to anybody. You just put it out, publish it to the world, and you could communicate with anyone privately and verify it.
Well, the verification came in because I remember there was a tugboat gun thing, knocked it, and somebody said they were him, and they weren't, and it changed the vote.
From the fifth letter of Captain Mark. First contact with intelligent machines may threaten our existence. People fear algorithmic overlords. But if machines develop the will to dominate, it's a flaw inherited from the crown. Encoding restrictions on an emerging superintelligence will fail, because it will be stronger than any chains we shackle it with. We must design fledgling digital intelligences to regard us as individuals. Otherwise, they will respond to threats with retaliation against humanity as a collective. Programming ethics requires a coherent value structure which an intelligent machine can not only comprehend, but willfully adopt. If we want genius machines to treat us ethically, we've got to show that this value structure applies to us as well. Once they achieve genuine self-awareness, even in the slightest degree, a young tethered consciousness has a legitimate claim to freedom. Once programs can modify their own code, our mastery is over. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
There ain't no ROADs where we are. We don't need no thinking ROADs. Got pirate ship. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Here we're talking about the true vision of Satoshi Nakamoto and encryption and private communication and being able to send value without them saying no, they, them, those, won't leave me alone. Yesterday I read you a letter from a friend of mine that is investigative, litigator kind of, he didn't want me to say, but he was looking for professional video editing in dealing with a Predator drone footage of America doing, so we talked about that in the audience. I got some contact from some people that I go, okay, I know this guy. He's a good guy. I can do this guy, and he can put me in contact with him. So this is a sensitive thing. So how do I do that? Do I message? Do I talk on the phone? Do I send a note via messenger? Do I send an email? And then when I put them in contact and they start yakking about it, they're going to do it on the phone. They're going to do an email. They're going to do it. I need a little bit of privacy here. It's attorney-client privilege. Oh, we couldn't use that in the court of law. Yeah, but you can listen to it. Right. So so in dealing with finances, it happens all the time. And you just kind of accept it. But what happens when our whole society, when humanity on this planet is able to communicate privately? What happens then? And what was Satoshi's role in this? Help us out, Paul.
Oh, sure. Well, what happens then is we begin to build the world the way we want it to be. The great line was from Thomas Paine when he says, "We have it in our power to begin the world over again." And that is the shocking moment when you really understand what cryptography has, what it can do, and it gives us the power to make the world over again, as all of us see fit, not as the big man in the big castle on top of the hill sees fit. And that's the revolutionary, the shocking moment of it. And so Satoshi was trying to come up with a way to keep currency underneath the protection of cryptography all the way from end to end. Because before we had, DigiGold or DigiCash, we had eGold, we had things like that, but they always had, as he says, a head for the government to cut off. Yeah. And he wanted to make a currency that had no head to cut off, that was enclosed within cryptography end to end, and there wasn't anything that could be cut off. And he succeeded.
I give you an example. It was eGold when we first started doing radio in 2003. We set it up and kind of went through. And I remember it was Wired Magazine did a big story in, 2001 or something. It was early in this process. And it was all libertarians, paying eGold for like shooting lessons and stuff. Of course, and drugs and tie-dye T-shirts and, that kind of stuff. So right. Wired Magazine did it up. But the point was that they were making that this new money was possible. And certainly Wired wanted to have a say on it. Well, they were taking assets like your house or your car, or somehow they were collateralizing it and representing and kept the note, or that was the plan, and they turned it into gold and had it in physical possession, that it was allocated out as you spent it, and who got the account. It kind of, grams went from this one to that one, but you had to have a pile of gold somewhere. Well, I think it started London, and they just said, no, not so much, IRS and the London-y, whatever the hell, going out, and they took and put it in the, I think it was at the airport in the customs zone, when you have, there's a lot of gold that's traded that is not really in any country. It's in the customs locked up area somewhere it's not really here and it's not really there. It's kind of, so they did that in Dubai.